Hey, RetconRaider here, and welcome to the demo for Aether and Iron by Seismic Squirrel. It's a fairly bewildering mashup of genres, though in their own words they describe it as a deco-punk narrative RPG, and I'd say that's more or less in the right ballpark. I mean, personally, if I were defining it, I'd probably say it's more of a high-effort etherpunk or deco-punk visual novel with RPG elements, including a simple dice-based skill system and grid/lane-based vehicular combat, vaguely reminiscent of Dark Future, for those of you who are familiar with it, though my age may be showing there. But regardless of how you define it, I've got to say, having played through it once, I really ended up enjoying it. For those who don't really follow my channel, I am very much a fan of anachronistic historical settings. The more fantasy you inject in there, the better. A game just set during the historical Great Depression? Probably pass. I get plenty of real life in real life. An etherpunk reimagining of the Great Depression, set in floating cities in the sky, all filtered through the lens of a hard-boiled noir smuggler. Sign me the F up. I'll be the first in line. Not to mention, of course, the fact that I grew up on turn-based tactical vehicular combat games like Auto Duels, Car Wars, Dark Future, Gorka Morka. And I think it's an outright travesty that more developers don't embrace that particular subset of the turn-based tactical genre. So yeah, this one really scratches some very particular itches, where I'm concerned. But, you know, I've rambled enough. Let's roll right in. We're in this one for the long haul, so buckle up, folks. It's apt to get bumpy. Aether and Iron by Seismic Squirrel. We'll roll with balanced on this one, I think. Give you an accurate idea of what to expect if you're just playing the game the way it's intended.
Every man, woman, and child remembers the day that Aether first captured their imagination, that gravity became nothing more than an inconvenience. Prepare yourselves, fair citizens of New York, to feel such wonder again. The Helicline Institute of Avionics is announcing an early Aether Tech showcase ahead of the 1939 World's Fair. So come one and come all, and be inspired. Gaze upon new skyward frontiers and see that there is no alternative to a future amongst the heavens.
Looks like it's time. There's no thriving in this city, not in the lowers. They call it that for a reason. Drowning in rain, lost in the shadow of the uppers. But with a job like today's, a girl can hope to finally catch her breath. Just a transport. No guns, no complications, no room for another screw-up. A second chance from a hard case like Mr. Blanc doesn't come around often. I just hope he's not setting me up. But something still isn't cooking right. Mr. Blanc doesn't give second chances to anyone. After that last job went south, he could have tossed me into the well and watched me get torn apart 6 ways to Sunday.
Now leaving the station.
Someday, I can leave the smuggling business behind. I won't have to worry about backroom deals, meddling tyrants, or pulling pennies from the smoke of a gun. Maybe I could even find a place in the uppers to thrive. Too bad I'm only welcome up here on business. For now. Someday, I'll have a whole place to myself up here. Something entirely mine. No thing and nobody holding me down. Just me and the open sky. Finally free. I slip into one of the ritziest hideaways in the uppers, long after the rich and sauced have sauntered off to bed. The glass cage cleans up nice after hours, but no amount of soap will wash away the stink of high-class gin and imported cologne. My shoe gives the glass floor a wary tap as I scan the room. I ignore the booze hound glued to the table and turn to the stern-faced bartender.
No, thank you. As a fairly severe acrophobic for anything over about 2 stories, that is a big no from me. I'll live a bit more down-to-earth thanks, even if it is a garbage dump in this particular world. Also, right off the bat, I'm going to say I like the character art, I like the background art, I like the overall aesthetic. And I also really appreciate the fact that they put her in black and white when she's doing the internal noir monologue, but they shift her to full Technicolor when she's actually interacting with someone else. It's a fun artistic choice.
The regulars flock here to take in the view over a bottle of something expensive and bubbly. Every now and then, a soul gets grounded. And this is the best seat in the house. The booze hound's a whistling faucet, and his drool-spattered watch is worth more than my whole outfit. As good a mouthwash as any. Might come in handy later, too. Currency in my line of work isn't always green. The bartender gives me a look as I grab the long-necked top-shelf swill and take a drink.
Hey, just doing my part to keep the city safe. Guys clearly had enough. And then, of course, here we have our tutorial for the very basic inventory system. Grid-based, as you can tell from the art. But it is important to note, they do segregate it into two distinctly different inventories. The first being your character's personal inventory, the crew's pockets. But then also your vehicle inventory, which is used for the tactical combat and smuggling portions of the game. Pretty limited early on, but we are at the moment just restricted to our main character. I believe you can recruit up to 3 crew long-term, each bringing their own vehicle to the table. Then you've got your codex, pretty straightforward, but always nice to see. And you've got your basic journal interface, which helps you keep track of what you're currently supposed to be doing. And then there's the crew interface, sadly largely unused in this particular demo, though they do at least give you a glimpse of your first recruited crew member, and the fact that you can eventually swap between vehicles. All well beyond the narrative setup phase we currently find ourselves in, but we do, at the very least, have one level up. So let's go ahead and take care of that. And yeah, as aforementioned, the RPG side of things, the actual granular, nitty-gritty skills and talents is pretty straightforward. You've got 3 different categories: brass, hustle, and smarts, essentially your physical, charisma, and intelligence type stats, which each in turn break into 3 separate subcategories, defining or encompassing a specific skill, with the associated linear track then basically just alternating between combat abilities and basic +1s to the relevant skill roll. Could stand to be a bit more complex, but perfectly functional for what it is. That said, my first time through I ran Gia as a smooth-talking gumshoe, so this time let's take a very different approach. I think we'll double down on brass instead, as much as it does pain me to leave the more practical, non-combat skills behind. And rather, we will focus on, let's say, Enforcer and Grease Monkey. Those two seem to pair pretty well together, with Enforcer providing RAM-based bonuses, but then Grease Monkey providing automatic repairs. Just a shame we can't fit Daredevil in there too, but this is just a demo. We have a very finite number of points to work with overall. Though again, I will stress, eventually the player will have multiple crew members that can accompany them, helping them with other assorted skill checks. Oh yes, and then there's our tutorial pop-up for leveling. Slightly late to the party, but that's fine. You can pause and peruse as need be. It's funny, I think that screen right there is actually from the very end of the demo, right when you get your first crew member. So we are stuck just rolling with Gia's skills for the duration. Though, long term, you'd have up to 3 companions, so 4 total. That would imply that eventually you can pretty reasonably cover 8 of the 9 skills. The main question being which ones you're willing to go without during the earlier portions of the game. Anyway, let's go draw a blank, shall we?
My eyes dart to the back door. If things go sideways, I'm a quick sprint from the exit. The bartender's eyes follow my hands, making sure I don't get too familiar with a patron's belongings. I approach the counter.
I mean, he's not doing a great job of it because the first thing we did was swipe a bottle of top-shelf booze on the way over here.
Morgan? I give a curt nod without response. Any other gift of familiarity would be wasted. Wilson out? A deep sullenness passes over the man.
What can I do for you, Miss Rendazzo?
Ah, and there's our skill tutorial. Like I said, pretty straightforward. 2d6 plus modifiers. I will also say, the way it's set up does kind of encourage save scumming because there's a heavy element of RNG, and you only get XP if you actually pass the roll. Nice.
Morgan's eyes are gray, his knuckles raw, and the scent of 2-day-old body odor breaks through his strong cologne. Wilson never misses a shift.
Never's a big word, Miss Rendazzo, especially in this line of work.
That is fair.
It's been a while. How's business, Morgan?
Yes, obligatory reminder. They say it's an early access demo, so there are some minor hiccups here and there with the, otherwise pretty comprehensive voice acting. Business carries on as usual, Miss Rendazzo. Mr. Blanc's morning is full, and in the evening we host Kit Holiday.
I know that name from the radio. Shame I'll have to miss hearing her live. The glass cage might tolerate my presence during after hours, but its patience runs dry whenever respectable clientele's on the floor. I got a meeting with Mr. Blanc. Let him know I'm here.
So soon? I'm surprised. And without your uncle.
His eyes meet mine, challenging me to say anything, to reach for my piece, to balk, maybe even cry. I slowly inhale. It's too early to let some high-nosed stiff get his kicks in, so I smile. I'm missing an Apollo Diamond picture to be here, Morgan. Help a girl out. The bartender frowns while he polishes a small tumbler. He's expecting me. I don't intend to make him wait. Do you? That did the trick. He reaches his hand under the counter, slowly. A part of me waits for a fiery roar of buckshot to tear through the mahogany. Instead, I hear a click and muted bell.
Bell sound effect played slightly too early. Not that big a deal. Pretty simple fix.
They'll be with you shortly, Miss Rendazzo. I assume you can show yourself out afterwards.
A familiar scent fills the air and blazy smoke drifts to the corner of my eye, drawing my attention to a darkened booth.
Ah, that's not at all ominous.
The table's already set. A narrow beam of light splits the booth. On my side, a glass of my favorite whiskey. On the other, an ember held in the hands of a man more shadow than flesh.
Yeah, really playing up that deal with the devil angle, I see. As an aside, Blanc translates to either white or blank, depending on connotation.
Drink.
You know what? Normally I'm all for a free drink, but when it comes from someone like you, I'm gonna say pass.
Excuse me, Mr. Blanc, but I'm here for business, not pleasure.
Ooh. Well, you know what? I did say that I wanted to go more brass than tack this time out, so fair enough. Oh, my goodness.
An unhurried puff of smoke fills the booth. I hear the edge in his voice press against me. His eyes are narrowed points.
You do not set the terms, Randazzo. This is my table. My favor to you.
He stubs out the pleasantries with his dying cigarette. Onto a new smoke. Onto business.
A young woman from the Heights requests transport to the lowers. Nowhere in particular.
The Heights? What's some girl from upstairs want in the slums?
I don't care. She requested discretion.
She seem like the type to cause trouble? If she's getting into my car, I need to know what to expect.
She is young, naive, harmless. No threat to you.
Oh, missing smooth talker already. Odds are slightly in our favor, though.
You're the one who knows things, and that's all you know?
Hey.
The girl's hiding. I found her buying passage from an unsavory sort, and I offered her an alternative. She's desperate, and she had money.
That was nothing, but more than I could have hoped from a man who charges a premium on information. Sounds too easy.
For you, Randazzo, too easy is all you get. For now.
And if she brings in heat from the Heights?
I trust you will adapt.
Where's Wilson? Morgan looks worse for wear out there. The yellow flame flashes on caught breath.
Mr. Wilson is no longer under my employ.
Shame. He owes me money. Know where I can find him? The booth darkens to a silent gloom. Even the embers quiet their dull murmurings as Mr. Blanc leans forward again.
You'd do best to forget Mr. Wilson. Him and those he associated with. Or you too will find yourself out of my employ.
I'd struck a nerve, one that ran deep. Too deep for me to feel comfortable going any further. Mr. Blanc is a monster in his own right. I don't want to know what ghosts haunt his closet. I'll get it done in a few hours. And maybe next time we talk, the work will require more than my babysitting skills.
Your reputation is mud, Randazzo. This is charity. Do the job. You'll be paid. Half your usual.
Oh, boy. Well, again, I did say that I wanted to go brass first. Nice.
Half? No. You shouldn't even be giving me a job. You might call it charity, I call bull. Maybe I don't need to know all the details, but I am going to get paid what I deserve.
Careful.
I'm walking a knife's edge with bare feet, and he knows it. But he also knows I have a point. He could have given this job to anyone, but he didn't. He gave it to me. I wasn't going into this blind, not without proper pay. I'll find something else. I've worked my way from the bottom before. I don't need this. I stand to leave, burying the bluff as far in my gut as I can, keeping it from bouncing out with gritted teeth into hand near my holster.
Randazzo, stay put. Take the job or not. You do not leave without my say-so.
I turn around. Sweat pools at the base of my neck for several moments as I stare intently into the dark.
Your usual pay.
And Randazzo, do not do that again.
I like the, charcoal pencil sketches they toss in every so often. Really adds to the aesthetic.
You'll find her outside, being obvious. Good luck, Randazzo.
She's down below, after stepping out for air. Right, slight mix-up there. Quick tutorial on our mission log. Pretty straightforward. Does include an optional tracking toggle for those who want to be pointed directly where they need to go. Though, this early in the game, it's all pretty obvious. And again, those images are from the end of the demo. Those are the last few quests you get, but can't actually complete. Which I think does mark the point where the game really kind of opens up.
A string of yellow cabs idle at the curb, their vultures squawking at a young woman standing on the sidewalk, barely 20. She's a bird of paradise, too colorful for the drab concrete jungle around her. Obvious was right. That's the one. Zio always liked cabbies, said they were useful. This is where he and I disagreed. It's really something. Someday, I'll wake up to this every morning. One of the buzzards has her cornered. The girl's smile is a mask. She's being polite, but she doesn't realize how ugly this could get. Hey, beat it. This fare's mine.
Nice.
The cabbie gawps at me, stunned I dare intrude on his meal ticket. He sneers and turns back to the girl possessively.
You pay her no mind, doll. Listen, do you like music?
I step forward and dig the snout of my pistol into the unwashed folds of his exposed neck. At the cold touch of iron, he lets out a little rat squeak.
Oh boy, yeah, I was maybe kind of expecting something slightly more subtle, but I suppose jamming a gun right in someone's neck will get results.
Now that's music.
Oh boy,
I am right there with you, Nelly.
You're with me, Principessa. The girl locks eyes with me and instantly puts the pieces together. She's a fast one.
Thanks ever so much, but my friend's here? Have a nice day.
She trots over to me. The buzzards grumble and fly off, on the prowl for their next piece of roadside meat, leaving one stubborn hanger-on to squawk.
You better watch your back, girlie. We'll see you later. Sure, yeah, let's see how that works out for you.
That sure was scary. I didn't realize... thank you, Miss Smuggler?
I give her a once-over, like a filament warming up inside a bulb. Her shaken nerves are slowly replaced with a beaming smile. My silence doesn't seem to deter her optimism.
So, you're my driver. I'm Nellie. Well, Dr. Eleanor Reinhardt, technically, but please, Nellie's fine.
Name's Gia. So, doctor, huh?
That's right. My degree's in theoretical aethonics. I did my dissertation on Cherenkov radiation's impact on aether particulate flux. Columbia, then NYU for postgrad. Such a gorgeous campus. Have you been?
Can't say I have.
It's pretty close to the Helicline Institute of Aethonics. Olympus Park is what most people call it. Where I work. Or worked, anyway.
She fidgets with her big, overstuffed briefcase. Something about it bothers me. This isn't your average rich socialite clutching her purse in a rough part of town. She's clinging to it like a life raft.
I hope you don't mind me saying so, but you make quite a striking impression.
Yeah, pulling guns on people in broad daylight will do that. Really does kind of set the tone for that skill, though.
The girl's eyes sparkle with curiosity. She's a bright little thing. Smart, switched on, and she's doing an admirable job of hiding how scared she really is. Her voice drops to a conspiratorial whisper.
Are you really a smuggler?
You know what? I'm gonna say yes.
Depends who's asking.
Or that. I could also say that.
Well, I am silly. How does one become a smuggler anyways?
Usually not by choice.
Wowzers.
Indeed. I love Nell.
Uh-huh. My car's this way. Come on. I get an itchy feeling, like we're being watched. This whole thing has me off kilter, like walking into a room without turning on the lights.
I do wonder if there's any use for the premium liquor outside of just bribing that cabbie. I didn't see any my first time through.
Bet these platforms don't see many folks from the lowers.
All right.
We step into my ride. I twist the ignition, and we set off. I catch the girl scanning the interior, her eyes taking everything in. So, where am I dropping you off? The lowers is pretty big.
Oh, anywhere, really. I'm sure I'll find my way where I need to.
There's only sincerity in that voice. Mr. Blanc wasn't kidding. This really is a babysitting job.
Ooh, what's that button do?
Yeah, don't press that.
Ah, so it must be some type of modification. I bet it's a supercharger. They always have those in the comics. Oh, I know. It's an ejector seat. Wait, it's not for the passenger side, is it?
She's not even really talking to me. Her motor mouth is just spinning out of control. I've got to learn what the hell's going on with this easy transport. So, first time in the lowers, huh? Doing some sightseeing?
I'd rather not talk about it.
The kid glances away and grips the case tighter. This line of questioning isn't going anywhere. So, you and Mr. Blanc are old friends? The girl gives me a confused look, like I was using a jar of rotten eggs as face cream.
No, he helped me out of a difficult situation. He's a very kind man, you know. I quite like him, though I think he smokes too much.
Kind? I've never heard it put that way.
He talked about you before you showed up. I think he likes you. Said you had grit, that I could trust you. Not much else, though. After that, he just smoked and smoked. Dirty habit, don't you think?
Yeah.
I can't tell if she's being serious. Miss Sunshine doesn't seem like the type to lie, but getting Mr. Blanc to share personal details wasn't a scenario I could see playing out.
Oof. Yeah, that's about right.
Her shoes are well polished, her hands clean, and the letters ER adorn her briefcase. She's an open book, but I can't get a read on anything useful.
Is there something you want?
I want to know what I'm getting myself into, kid. Something's off.
Exactly what Mr. Blanc told you. I need transport to the lowers. That is all.
It's never that easy.
Maybe this time it is.
While we're talking, my eyes keep getting pulled to the rear view like it's a magnet. I can't shake the feeling we're not alone. I juke down a couple service paths and hop across an access junction. Sure enough, when we pop back onto street level, the same dark shape is lurking behind us. Hang on to something, kid. This might get bumpy. I pop open the hidden compartment under the dash and point to it. The girl catches on almost instantly, and there's only a moment of hesitation before she shoves her briefcase inside.
All right, now we're ready to move around on the map. I jumped the gun a bit when we first left the station, but, like I said, very very visual novel forward. And at the moment, it's not like we have much choice of where we're headed regardless. We're barely halfway through the prologue, which is pretty by the nose. But eventually all these blue roadways will open up as potential paths with various other locations we can visit. And then beyond that, there are entire other islands as well. This is just one of them. But for now, Astoria Bay. Here we go.
I catch a glimpse of the man tailing us. He's got the easy posture and the liquid metal smile of a seasoned killer. In the rear view, his eyes burn like ice above a jagged scar.
No! How did he find me?
Who?
Time you came home, darling.
Nellie? Who is that?
Looks like you found a little tour guide, Eleanor. Got no quarrel with you, smuggler. Pull over and you can drive away clean.
We can't, Gia. Please, we can't.
Don't worry, kid. Just keep your head down. This will be over soon.
And combat mode. Which, at a glance, just from the tutorial pop-up here, you can see is a pretty straightforward grid-based / lane-based combat system. And while generally pretty straightforward, there are some nice little touches, you know, periodic obstacles that pop up you have to navigate around or angle enemies into. Increased or decreased action point cost, depending on whether you're trying to accelerate forward or brake backward. And while it's very basic right now, you know, eventually you'll have special abilities, multiple vehicles to juggle as you gain new companions, etc. Oh yeah, and even now you can see that we do have the complication of civilian vehicles, which you can use as shields or makeshift weapons. But I do get the impression you generally shouldn't. Given that there's a whole heat mechanic, I imagine that rampantly wiping out bystanders for a fleeting tactical advantage is apt to have negative long-term consequences in the full campaign. Though I will use them to block line of sight. Oh, right. Yeah, they're falling back, so that didn't really work out for us. But we do have a narrowing roadway. And this mook just put himself in the perfect position for a gentle nudge. With, you'll note, the roadway change coming before he'll have a chance to correct his position. So, while we could certainly finish him off with a Gatling, I think I'll just check myself, whilst he wrecks thyself. Goodbye.
Another notch on the dash.
We did it, Gia! He's gone!
That was too easy. We need to get off this island, now.
Yeah, Gia's got the right of it. This is just the prologue. They're going easy on us. There are 3 fights in total in the prologue with an optional 4th. though there are also additional, more complicated fights available through the main menu screen. But hey, at least we got some scrap, which is used for manual repairs at auto shops. And on we go. Stop. All vehicles leaving Astoria Bay require an exit permit.
I got my papers. Verified this morning by...
All exit permits from before noon today are considered void. You'll have to acquire a new permit inside the terminal.
Look, maybe there is some other arrangement we can reach. I flash a clip of greenbacks underneath my outstretched expired permit. The guard looks unimpressed. Damn upper snobs, too good for money.
Ma'am, that might fly where you're from, but not up here. You'll have to get a permit, like everyone else. Now move.
He waves me on, and I drive towards an open...
Oh, clipped audio there. An open spot near the entrance of the terminal.
People mill about, laughing in the sun, but something's off. The world feels grainy and sluggish, like I'm wading through sand. I need to keep the girl close.
Ominous. There's not a dark cloud in the sky or a black hat in the crowd, but my shoulders remain tense.
We're killing time in a sea of hard limbs, well-used pocket watches, and dull chatter, waiting for a permit. Bureaucracy moves slow in the uppers without the right type of love to grease the wheels.
Gia, are you sure we can't take my briefcase? It's very important.
Better off out of sight than getting swiped in a pickpocket's hunting ground. See that? I nod and put a spotlight on an act I've played myself. A gal trips into a gentleman. The gentleman goes to help her. And the bag he's briefly forgotten about glides away in the hands of her partner.
Jeepers! Oh, that poor man. We should
do nothing. Right now, we keep our heads down and avoid bringing attention to ourselves.
Oh.
Look, no one's prying my stash open, and I've got an eye on the car. Besides, we'll be back in the Chimera in no time.
Right. What's the phrase? Staying low. I'm just worried because... Oh, Gia, look! Cotton clouds! Oh, I haven't had uppers candy in years.
The girl runs off,
leaving me to idle in line.
Hey, don't wander off. She stops, but only long enough to shoot me a grin and a wave, an innocent invitation to come along. My neck itches at every careless shoulder bump and lingering eye. Nobody unusual, but the itch doesn't quit. The speakers call out names with far more cheer than they deserved. Dreamland, Nation's Crusade, and so on. None were ours. The vendor sculpts pink and blue clouds for passengers in search of a sweet souvenir. Nellie looks ready to buy out the whole stand. The girl seems determined to stay obvious. We've still got time before the ferry leaves, but I growl as I give up my spot in line and beat feet after her. The girl's busy drilling the vendor about sugar to syrup ratios. I throw a look and she focuses on picking out a flavor. A stick of cotton later, I heard her back in line. Unfortunately, it hasn't moved. I let her get in a few sweet bites before I feed her something bitter. What did that scarred-up black hat want with you? Her face falls mid-bite. The pink cloud sags like a lead balloon.
I've thought of at least 5 different ways to explain it, but It's complicated. Usually I'd ask someone for advice, but he's not here.
Oh, I do feel bad trying to strong armor, but we gots to know. Ow.
You knew who that was. Why is he after you?
I don't know.
He almost ran us off the road and killed us both. Filled my car full of holes that your fee doesn't cover. Is that not enough to jog your memory? I press too hard and she shuts down in front of me. I'll have to ask her more later. Look, kid, I got shot at for you. I was told to expect a simple transport, and now I'm stuck looking over my shoulder. You owe me a whole lot more than it's complicated. What's in the case?
I'm sorry. You're right. And I'm sorry you got shot at. It's my research. It's very important, but I don't know why anyone else would want it.
I give her a side eye. I need the whole picture, but all I'm getting is an unfinished canvas.
It's the well.
What about it? So a bodega sign falls off and disappears every now and then. Neighborhood's already coming to pieces anyhow.
It's expanding. Getting bigger. Stronger. It's going to get bad, Gia. Really bad.
You're pulling my leg.
No! I swear, Gia! The car!
Well,
Minutes. I'd only taken my eyes off the car for a few damn minutes. Time stops long enough for me to catch the tail end. The glare of green lights, the lift of red-white metal, and the blur of a black hat. They took my car.
Gia! My research was in the car. What are we going to do?
We're going, now. Ferry's here. I know a place we can hide on board, but we gotta move.
But...
No buts, kid. Move. If they've got the car, we've got to assume they're on our tail. We stick to the plan. Get to the lowers and hole up somewhere safe. After that, we're gonna figure out how you're getting my car back. The hole is a barrenless refuge, rotting and hidden in a forgotten corner of the city. It offers sanctuary to every soul who finds freedom at the end of a gun or the bottom of a bottle. It is the safety of the shadows.
you know, in retrospect, I suppose missing out on the XP for failed skill checks isn't a huge deal. It is a fairly incidental amount, like 6 to 10 from what we've seen. Whereas the vast bulk of your XP is more apt to come from combat or quest completion. I mean, that right there. I think that kicked us up 2 levels? Yeah, 2 levels. So with 2 points banked, let's go ahead and finally grab our first point of Enforcer, and then we'll prioritize regen. But our next unlock will be the double ram. Slamming enemies into each other or into oncoming obstacles is a very fun tactic. Honestly, and looking a bit further down the track, it really does kind of highlight that the Daredevil talent tree is sort of counterintuitive compared to, at least, engineering. Engineering allows for rapid recovery of vehicle health, whereas Daredevil seems to largely scale off of missing health. So if I were to expand into a third skill, maybe it wouldn't be Daredevil.
Oh, is this your hideout, Gia? It's like a pirate's cove or a raider's den.
More like a sinkhole. Watch your step, kid. You'll sooner run into a back alley mugger than a swashbuckler out here.
So, what's next? We need to formulate a strategy.
My place. I need a drink. and you need to finish explaining what the hell got my car stolen.
Ah, home sweet home. New York City's bigger than the world that holds it. A single filing cabinet shouldn't contain it all. But I always found a way to keep it stocked with everything I need. I still have that new edition of BAM to read. Later. I can last one more day. Or, forever. Don't smoke. What would you do here, Zio? Say the job's over, cut the girl and run? Would definitely save me from a headache.
Finally, the first drop of real sunshine all day.
Zio always told me to have a way out. This old greenhouse has plenty of windows that offer that very service. Would hate to break one on a quick getaway, though. While the Joneses have their gilded wallpaper, all I have is a head full of some days. Unfortunately, dreams don't provide much of a view when your eyes are open. And our stash. Long-term storage, of course, but not accessible while you're out on the road. Though I think you do have access to it at auto shops and other select safe houses. I'd have to double-check that, though.
The way she holds herself is too bright for my apartment, too colorful. Everything feels smaller, the space between the shrinking walls taken up by her testimony.
I've been tracking growth patterns around gravitational anomalies. The well's always been an unusual case. It goes through the occasional spike and ebb, but it's always stabilized, eventually. My colleagues and I were supposed to meet and discuss what to do about the well, but I was late. I would have been inside already if it hadn't been for Professor Gardner. He discovered something was wrong first. He tried to get me away, and because of me, he...
She trembles, leaving the unspoken sound of a falling body to echo off the walls.
There was an explosion. Everything burned so fast. I wanted to help, but Professor Gardner wasn't moving. That's when I saw him. The black hat. And then he saw me. I ran as fast as I could. Didn't have time to take anything else but the notes I had on me.
That's a hell of a story. So a professional killer snuck into the Heights and blew up a building just to get his mitts on you and your research. And you have no idea why.
I truly don't. Please, you have to believe me.
Your colleagues. Tell me about them.
They were brilliant scientists, Gia. All of them. And bright and hopeful. Together, we were going to discover a better world. Find the answers to...
She holds back the grief by roaming the room with her eyes, latching on to every detail and yet ignoring every bit of it.
And they were kind. Alistair, Professor Gardner, especially. He always looked out for me, even when I first showed up. A 16-year-old with a half-packed suitcase and too many questions. He always tried to help. Right to the end.
Your kind have been coming down here for years. They do some tests, make a big spectacle of themselves, and conclude that it's mostly harmless. Nothing more than clouds or a bad storm.
That's the thing! It should be nothing more than a cloud or a storm. For crying out loud, it's not Jupiter's red spot. Something is causing it to persist and expand.
You're sure it's expanding?
If my work is correct, quickly.
It was just a pause. A moment where I hold back a lifetime of cynicism and disappointment. but she hears it like I'm filling the room with air raid sirens.
You live in a flying city, Gia. A city kept alive with technology so foreign 80 years ago that we'd be like gods to our grandparents. It's solvable.
You're in the lowers, as requested and paid for. What were you planning once you got here?
First, I thought I'd have to find a place to live, of course. I have some money,
The girl goes paler than the moon in a crystal bath. A moment of clarity, and a possible lifetime of hopelessness.
It was in my case. All of it. I have nothing.
She looks up at me, eyes suddenly welling into baby blue pools that flood the dwindling room.
I don't have anyone I can ask for a loan. They're dead. All of them. He killed them. And now he's followed me here. He won't stop, will he? He's going to find me again. And I won't be able to fix the well, and...
Hey, kid. Look at me. You're smart. You'll figure something out. You just... listen. I'll talk to someone who could help, but I need you to focus. Those goons stole my car and your briefcase. And right now, you might be the only real lead I have.
What can I do? I told you everything I know.
Not everything. I don't get it. You're from Olympus Park. You got money. And you just leave without talking to anyone?
I needed to disappear quickly. Apparently, I'm not all that good at it. I didn't have time to pack. I took the first ferry I could find, and it left me in Astoria Bay. Fortunately, when I told a very nice officer I needed to get to the lowers, he referred me to Mr. Blanc.
Knowing Mr. Blanc, that referral didn't happen by chance. He's got eyes in every dark corner of the city. If a bird from the heights flew down on an air of mystery, he'd want to know why. He called you by your name. We're looking at someone who's done his research, or someone who's got something personal on you. Got any enemies up there?
No!
You sure? You didn't piss off some other brainiac with a better showing at the science fair?
No.
You running from family? Some bigwig who made a pass at you? Jilted husband?
I'm not. I've never been married. I don't have the time or the interest. But even if I did, I haven't had any gentleman callers, or really met any gentlemen. Aside from Professor Gardner, of course, but he doesn't count. Not in that way.
This Professor Gardner's come up a few times. Who is he?
Oh, Professor Gardner, Alistair Gardner, was one of the first people recruited to the Helicene Institute. He's one of their spokesmen, too. He even oversaw my application. The other adjudicators were reluctant. Everyone else was so much more senior and older, too. But Alistair fought for me. He called my skills and my desire for a better world a brilliant ambition. He helped look after me during my stay at Olympus Park. It helps that he supervised the lab that I worked in.
This Professor Gardner's come up a few times.
Oh, Professor Gardner, Alistair Gardner, was one of the other adjudicators were reluctant. He helped look after me during my stay at Olympus Park. It helps that he supervised the lab that I worked in.
Yeah, he's probably not dead.
Something doesn't add up. Most of us will never see the heights, let alone Olympus Park. How'd someone like him get inside?
I don't know. Must have broken in. Or stolen access? Disguised himself, maybe? But you can't just stroll through. I had to go through an extensive vetting process to even be allowed to visit.
So he's found you twice. Once in the heights, and then again after hiding with Mr. Blanc. He'll probably track you down here, too.
You think?
She starts to retreat back into her shell. Damn it. I was just getting somewhere. If I'm going to get anything useful out of this, I gotta give her something to latch onto. Hey, look at me. This chump isn't getting away with this. I'm going to take care of him. Going to get my car and your briefcase back.
Really?
It's a matter of personal and professional pride. I don't like when people mess with what's mine. Just stay here and don't touch anything. I'll be back soon.
Wait, I'm going with you.
And why should I do that? You're a doe in headlights most of the time.
Well, for a lot of reasons, actually. For starters, I'm excellent company. I'm also smart and amazing at aethonics. I'm sure that could really come in handy out there. But if not, well, let's be honest with each other. I need you to find that man. He has my briefcase. You need your car back, and you can do that by finding him. If he's following me, then that's good news. The best way for you to find him is for him to find me. Us.
Foolhardy or brave, like going all in before the flop in a high-stakes hold'em round. I'll give the kid this much. She's earnest to a fault. Okay, but first I need to see a gal about a car. Until I'm back, stay put. Cress is already gonna be in a bad enough mood when she hears about the car. She doesn't need me ambushing her with this bundle of trouble, too. Cress Carter is the only person in the hole who could sell me something with 4 repulsors and a steering wheel. Only one issue. I'm broke. Fortunately, I have something more valuable to her than a wad of cash. If there's anything that can soften bad news and a steep ask from Cress, it's fresh vinyl with a smooth baritone. I second-guess leaving the girl idle in my room. She's the curious kind that could find trouble with her eyes closed and feet tied.
Slight change up on the phrasing there. Interesting.
I don't live like royalty, but I got a few shabby creature comforts around. Maybe it's enough to keep the girl's hands busy.
Right, so get her drunk or give her comic books? I think I'll go with the latter, especially since I believe she actually did bring up comics earlier.
Try one of these. Cloud Captain never fails to cheer me up.
Oh, thanks, Gia.
She starts to flip through the pages as I leave, her eyes landing longer on the page with Cloud Captain's devilish smile.
All right, let's go get our new car. And technically meet our first crew member. Not much of a spoiler that, given they showed it right in the tutorial. Cat. 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 No! I refuse! Love me! But fine, cats are stupid anyway, and I didn't even like you. And I'm definitely not trying reverse psychology, because that never works on cats. She works tirelessly on that arm of hers, obsessing over it, making sure that it's not useless. Sometimes I wonder if she's talking about herself, more than her arm.
Cress? The hole doesn't ask much of its residents. Stay quiet, don't draw attention, find comfort in the dark. Despite growing up an Aether in the Undercity, Cress Carter refused to abide. From behind a junker made more of rust than steel, 2 faintly glowing points rise. Cress appears, pale, milky eyes already wary and fixed to joust.
Where's my baby, 8-Shot?
The low, angry rumble of the island's Aether generators shake the floor in protest of their nature-defying feat. I hope it stifles the sound of my pulse. This is news I don't want to break. I distinctly remember buying it from an Italian rug salesman and his well-armed mother. And you, where were you?
Yeah, don't remind me.
I think you were, what's the word, stuck, wedged, down the wrong chimney to the wrong back room. I still have the scars, you know, from when the shooting started.
Okay. But answer this. Just who fixes that thing every time you add new holes? Who ripped out that trash stock engine and gave you something that actually works? Who made it?
All right. Our baby, then. Yeah, about that. Is that a combustion engine you're working on? It's practically an antique.
Mr. Thompson's been holding on to this thing since he first moved here. Left her to me when he passed. She's not much now, but a few more tons of elbow grease, and she'll sing.
She stretches her prosthetic arm and tilts her head, analyzing the jagged edges of this car-shaped hunk of rust like puzzle pieces she can rearrange and solve. She's distracted, mind somewhere free and happy, when I bring her back down. Cress, I got some bad news. The car's gone. I let my guard down.
You lost it? You here then to beg for your life?
I need help getting it back. An iceberg lugged 3,000 miles from the North Pole and thrown in the corner wouldn't have made this room any colder. Cress, Look, I don't come empty-handed. Here, found this on one of my jobs.
You think you can bribe me with a Coleman Hawkins? Damn. Okay, I'm listening.
She's still out there. My guess is White Street. The thief was after something in a hidden compartment, and they won't get it open without help. White Street will take apart anything if they get to keep the parts.
I'm listening for an apology, Gia. That wasn't just your car. It was hours, days of my blood, sweat, and tears to make it work.
You think I don't feel bad enough as is? I'm sorry, Cress. It's this job I'm on. This client, some hotshot's after her. Same punk who took the car.
Apology accepted, if you get our baby back. Now, this job. I thought you were taking things easy still. Honestly, surprised you found work at all. It's only been a year since your uncle died. How you holding up?
Work's dried up. Even the easy jobs that no one wants. What I can get is barely enough to get by.
Have you considered calling in that favor Needles owes you? He's working in White Street now. Pretty sure he could get you a job if you need it. Here, he's been busy lately.
Needles? I'm not talking to that prick, not in 100 years. Not sure who would shoot first if we saw each other again. No, Cress, not him. Wait, are you keeping tabs on him?
You're not the only smuggler that's good at what they do. He's also one of the few who still runs in White Street. Aether over there don't have many options, especially with that tyrant and his constant wars.
War in White Street wasn't new, and it wasn't worth the small talk, or the bad memories that come with it. It's this client. There's something off about her.
Off? How?
Can't place it yet. Too many questions. Doesn't help that she's from the Heights.
Well, there's your problem. Anyone who lives that high up has a screw loose. Not enough oxygen. Shouldn't trust any of those airheads.
I might have to if I want to get my car back.
Be careful out there, Gia.
Not right now, Cress. I just want to stay focused, find my car. I bet by now she's in the hands of some White Street chop shop. I need your help, Cress.
2 favors, then. A car, and I assume a lead in White Street.
Her eyes go distant. She never told me who she lost when White Street's Baron executed his last purge, but she disappeared for a week afterwards. When she finally returned, someone else walked around in Cress's leather shoes. She pulls out a pencil, scribbling a symbol on an old stale coffee filter plucked from the ground.
North White Street Harbor, Pier 9. Say I sent you. You'll find some Aetherians who can help. Maybe. As for the car, got a lemon out back. Not much, but it's a start. Bring it around, and maybe I can get it working. Take these repair kits too, in case you get in a scrap.
Hey, nice. Oh, and look at that. We got our car, too. The Lemon. A name that truly inspires confidence.
Thanks, Cress.
Hand-drawn ether rat symbol. A hand-drawn sketch of a claw-looking symbol given to you by Cress. Plus our other assorted acquisitions. Not of much use at the moment.
Yeah. Also, Gia, don't be an ass. I'll hear about it.
I'll see what I can do, but I mean, that hasn't really been working out for us. And we now have access to our first full-on workshop, now that we actually have a car again. Oh yeah, and look at that, we do have access to our stash. Well, that's convenient. We'll go ahead and get this shoddy installed. Which, of course, brings us to our vehicle customization. And I'd say this is relatively straightforward. You know, you've got your basic slot system. Though the things to keep in mind, which do add a level of extra complexity, are total weight, which determines your initiative in combat, and heat, which determines how much attention you draw in non-combat encounters. Obviously, tooling around in a floating tank, armed with cannons, will certainly make combat easier, but it will also draw a lot of attention and thus impact the way various encounters play out. Though in some cases that can be good, because the whole heat system also kind of plays into skill checks. But we'll get into that a bit later down the line. I think that's a tutorial once we reach our first temporary safe house. Yeah, I guess that's really it. Not much else to do aside from just slap on that shotgun. You know what? I suppose we could at least palette swap. We are driving a Lemon, might as well color it accordingly. I do wish there was a bit more fine-tuning, like patterns and such. But perhaps that's something they'll expand upon later down the line. Yeah, that's fine. And how about you, Percy? I've been ignoring you for a whole 10 minutes now. You love me yet? Meow. You know what? I'll take it. That is a distinct improvement. We'll have to find you something nice. I'll win your heart yet, as opposed to merely your grudging tolerance.
I'd left the kid to get some rest. I returned to find her stainless shoes performing a precarious balancing act on my chair while her hands twirl the wall crank. What the hell are you doing?
Oh, Gia! I'm not used to having time on my hands, and I couldn't help but notice your plant wasn't getting enough light. I adjusted the height, and it should get up to 10% more exposure. I hope that was all right.
Next time, ask. Anyway, got transport and a lead. Let's head out.
Already?
We need to move fast if we even want a chance of finding my car and your briefcase in one piece. Best bet? We start with White Street.
Why there? Is it a smuggler thing?
It's a hunch. White Street's whole business is sanitation and recycling. You need something disposed of on the down low? That's where you go.
And thus begins the second half of our prologue. And I will say, there is some temptation to call it here since we're already past the hour mark, but you know what? The first half was pretty visual novel heavy. We get a bit more in the way of actual gameplay as you get into the second half. Plus, I do feel like to really do the setup justice, we need to get at least a bit of the payoff. So, you know what? Let's hit the pause button real quick. I'm going to go recaffeinate, and then we'll see if we can power through the rest of this thing. Though I will skip some of the optional dialogue. Like, you can go back and talk to various key NPCs. Cress, Nellie. We could actually go down and talk to the Dockmaster right now if we really wanted to. Which does all give interesting insight and lore about the setting and the individual characters and so on. It's just stuff that I don't feel is really relevant for the encapsulated prologue. You know, that stuff we might touch on if we end up doubling back to the game on full launch. Since that, of course, will be the point where there is an actual reason to get that deeply invested in the lore. That's it. Give me one sec. And we're back. Alright, let's head up top. And yes, here we get a glimpse of the full world map. The 3 main islands we'll have access to in the full campaign, showing that the one we're currently exploring is actually the smallest. Not sure about these ones on the edges. I think that's just decoration. But yeah, that does imply that there's still quite a bit ahead of us once the game hits full launch. Let's see, so we were just... Oh yes, let's go meet up with the Aethoniers.
I don't believe in vengeful spirits. If they existed, White Street would have been torn from the sky in retribution for its decades of war. Instead, it stays floating to spite the dead, a withered shell of its former glory.
Nellie, I want you to watch me and stay close.
Why? Is something wrong?
Where would I find the time, kid? Or the heart to fill your head with graves of ash, islands on fire in the night, the thunder of war in the skies? That was years ago. But not yet.
Yeah, I mean, not exactly breaking ground, but much like most utopias, that illusion of paradise is mostly just a veneer for the benefit of the folks up top, so they don't have to see all the ugliness down below that actually keeps it going. Literally, in this case, given elevation levels. Halt! The roads are closed until the demonstration is over. Exit your vehicle and line up for the parade. Oh, Gia! A parade! Let's go! If you do not comply, you will be arrested.
Fine. I needed to stretch my legs anyhow. Like a dove on an updraft, the girl flutters off as soon as her heels hit the street, following the music and fanfare to the nearby parade.
Hey, I said stay close!
Wowzers. I haven't been to one of these since I was young. Father took me to several, but those weren't as, serious. Where are the floats? The clowns? They're just soldiers. Are all parades in the lowers like this?
Just like this? No. Each baron has their own flavor of showboating to distract from how bleak life is down here. White Street's just eager to march and flash their guns around.
Something big must be going on. Do you know what's happening?
I'm not sure what this is. White Street has been bleeding territory, money, and men for over a decade in its wars with the surrounding barons. This should be a funeral march, not a celebration.
Nice.
Through a hail of ticker tape, I swerve past a waving arm to get a better look at the line of soldiers. Spotless uniforms, polished guns, a show of strength that White Street hasn't been able to afford in years. When did they fill their war chest? Hey, pal, what's the occasion?
The General's unveiling his new machine. Soldiers say it's gonna save the lowers.
Save the lowers? Going to take more than some new weapon to do that.
Shh! You wanna get us thrown in the tomb? Smile and wave.
He applies more plaster to his smile. I glance around. He's not the only face in the crowd straining to keep the corners of their mouth upright. The cries of support echo emptily. The banners flow without enthusiasm. Like stone pushed through a sieve, the crowd forces out cheers for a devil clad in white.
Is that the Baron of White Street? He must be really popular.
That's Eli Tillinghast. Calls himself the General. They cheer because if they don't...
Burn the tyrants!
One hot blast of light was all it took to disappear a crowd, stunning onlookers like a twisted magic trick. Instead of applause, cries of panic and a stampede of feet clap the pavement, while a putrid smell fills the air. My gut twists as it fights every reckless impulse to run.
Oh, thank goodness for that. We're good at, like, one thing, so, you know. Nice to actually succeed, even if just barely.
A few onlookers run from the scene. My feet are 2 steps after them before my senses yank me by the shoulders. Eli Tillinghast doesn't tolerate desertion from anyone. The crowd seconds from dissolving into a frenzied swarm. If I don't grab the kid and move, we're going to get trampled flat. However, we're saved by an unlikely savior.
Hold!
The Baron of White Street stands, gloved hand extended. Despite fear and panic, the crowd obeys, frozen in place by a gentle, assuring gesture.
Let the procession continue.
The music starts back up, and the world moves on Eli's command. Coerced cheers rush to fill terrified silence, while marching boots blot out the scorched earth.
The days where White Street bled tirelessly to save a debaucherous world have come to an end. We will bleed no longer. Our enemies will tremble before a weapon they cannot resist, a weapon they cannot overcome. We will demand our rightful place in the sun and rid the shadow of chaos from the lowers. We are just. We are strong. We are unsullied.
He pumps his fist and the crowd answers with a deafening cheer. With all eyes back on the General and his grisly procession, I look for Nellie.
These barons are no different than dictators of small countries, playing dress-up and throwing their armies around like toy soldiers on the playground. The war banners of White Street once flew over much of the lowers. I dread the day it happens again. destruction like that. With weapons like these, they could reclaim everything they've lost, dragging the whole damn city back into war. God help us. Despite the carnage, the crowd's feet remain glued in place. They cheer harder, more desperate, refusing to tempt fate in its devastating new weapon.
It's only a second, but I spot a glint of metal in the curve of a black brim that resembles a scarred-up bastard. I go for my gun, but he disappears like campfire smoke in the night. Did he spot us? Or am I jumping at ghosts? I scan the whole street. Nothing. Not a hint of the black hat or my car. I decide not to mention it to the kid. After what happened, I'm jumpy enough for the both of us.
Oh, no! That weapon, Red Aether, wasn't to ever... Oh, Gia, those people. Those poor people.
You recognize it? What the hell was that thing, Nellie?
It was never supposed to get out. Never. How did it get out? How?
She buries herself in her hands, breathing hard, wishing with every strained muscle that this nightmare would end. A part of me wants to join her.
I can't stay here, Gia. We have to go.
We can't. Not without attracting serious attention. You saw what happened. If we get caught sneaking out, we'll get shot.
Gia, please.
The kid's bloodless face moves me to glance down the procession line. The tail end's in sight, but the miserable sound from the girl has me second-guessing how long her nerves will hold.
Nice.
Nellie, look at me. Talk to me. Just tell me what that was.
That weapon used red Aether, Gia. A highly volatile, highly experimental version of Aether. It's very powerful, but also very unstable. But red Aether wasn't supposed to...
With nothing more than an empty expression, the kid clams up, tighter than a 10-inch steel vise. And you know what? I think we'll just maybe stay put.
We have to wait the parade out. Hold on just a while longer.
I understand.
The sound of lockstep boots thumping asphalt finally fades into the corpse-stained wind, and the crowd, released from their mandated joy, finally begins to disperse. Silence finds its way back into the world.
Man, I've got to say, I really do love how they turn phrases in this game. Though, you know, it's obviously far from the only thing. There's plenty to like. Sure, there's a few hiccups here and there, but that's understandable. This is, at its core, an inherently unfinished demo build.
All at once, the poor kid's nerves crumble like a paper cup, spilling her insides all over the now vacant street. Take it easy, kid. Slow breaths, all right?
Let's get out of here. Now, please.
Yeah, we're done. Enough distance passes that ash and screams and a bright, hot light start fading into a bad memory. Nellie breaks the silence.
Is White Street always this... awful?
Often enough. White Street's never shied away from putting down opposition with violence. Never heard of them using a weapon like that, though.
But those were their people. He's supposed to be the Baron. Isn't he supposed to listen to their concerns? What about due process?
Look, kid. It might work that way upstairs, but not here. The only word that matters down here is the Barons, and in White Street, the chain of command's everything. If Eli says we're going to war, you either fall in line, or you're an enemy.
One might have been bad, but the others were simply calling for peace. Where's the harm in that?
White Street tried the whole peace thing a few years ago. Someone blew them to bits during peace talks. That's not something they'll ever forget.
That's something else I also appreciate about this game is the world building and the general shades of gray. You know, obviously White Street's a pretty terrible place. Baron Eli Tillinghast isn't a great dude. But, you know, they do point out that it's not like cartoonish evil. You can see why they ended up the way they are now, considering what happened to his predecessors. That's obviously not to excuse his actions. Dude's still pretty reprehensible. But it does provide some pretty valuable context as to how he ended up in power in the first place.
It's around here somewhere, hidden. What was that symbol?
Are we really going into the Undercity? Will the Aether Rats let us, or are the stories true? You don't think they'll throw us off the island, do you?
Which stories we talking about?
Well, the ones in the papers? I've never met an Aether Rat, so I honestly don't know how much of it is true or not. However, they're supposed to be benevolent, aren't they? They keep our islands in the sky, and in exchange, they get the Undercity, but everyone knows that. I've heard they generally keep to themselves. Except when outsiders sneak into their tunnels. Also, their eyes all turn into a unique shade of pale blue. They glow, too, from what I've read. Like Aether. There are journals that theorize why, but nothing concrete. Or always pleasant.
Madonna. The kid's understanding is as accurate as a stained mirror. Better clear things up before we go in. Look, you can't rely on the stories you read in the papers. You want to avoid getting grounded? Don't call them Aether Rats. They're Aetheniers, and they're good people. I'm guessing you've never met one?
No. There were rules. We weren't really supposed to interact with them. Or see them.
They don't want to be seen down here either. Too many people can't stand the idea that an island floats or sinks on the whim of an Aethenier. Figure a good rat is a scared rat.
They've done it before, haven't they? I've read of islands crashing because of Aether repulsor failure that could only be possible by sabotage.
And blow themselves up out of spite? No island falls without a Baron behind it and a list of dead Aetheniers trying to stop it. The world down here isn't one you'll find in your books. Keep that in mind. Now, where's that door?
I don't know, Gia. I mean, I'm gonna say it's probably the giant door with the claw symbol on it, but I don't know. Maybe it's one of these other random things. The last remaining guilds in White Street, or anything resembling a union, died out in the last purge. Or maybe it was a few purges ago. I've lost track. Among the fleet of crates, I spy one out of step. Whoever had nailed this one shut had done a hack job, leaving behind a wobbly lid and a crack just big enough for a finger. Well, then let's give it the finger. Nice. I stick my hand in the maw, angling past jagged slivers and crooked nails, until I find a solid grip. I pull, fighting the groaning, shuddering lid. It gives up with a pop. Contraband tutorial. So I guess this is our first piece of contraband. Oh yeah, look at that. Not exactly a super impressive piece, cheap box of cigars, but we'll take it.
Careful strokes of paint form an innocuous symbol of a rat matching the sketch Cress gave me. This is the right place.
No. What? No.
Shopping for trouble? Or just sightseeing real close?
Jeepers! Gia?
A pauper. One of the murderous specters slithering freely through every pipe, waiting to brutalize passers-by. If you listen to the stories. Scary as he is, he's more sentinel than specter. Looking for you, actually. We're friends of Cress Carter. She sent us to ask about a missing car.
Cress Carter?
Strange. Cress's name should mean something. Either he's greener than he looks or he doesn't trust my word. I might need something to loosen his tongue. Name's Gia Randazzo. Who are you if you don't know Cress Carter?
Maybe I know her. Don't know you. Neither of you.
Well, if what you need is an introduction, my name is Dr. Eleanor Reinhardt. Pleased to meet you.
Yeah, that should definitely do it. Thanks, Nell.
Don't shake hands with strangers, let alone topsiders.
He threatens to disappear back into the shadows and leave us without a way in. But then he pauses.
Doctor? What type of doctor?
Oh, theoretical athonics. Now, I don't have the experience one of you Aethoniers have with the practical side, but I do know my way around an Aether core. I was actually hoping I could find out a little more about maintenance techniques down here.
You know anything about hydraulic engineering?
No, but I'm a quick study.
New topic unlocked.
We're not looking for trouble. Like I said, just need info.
Could be a couple of terriers and maybe some topsiders looking for some fun.
Just look at her. And if either of us were terriers, you and I both know this conversation would have gone very differently.
You're right, she doesn't. Too shiny. Looking to see how the other half live, eh, sweetheart?
I beg your pardon. I'm not a terrier, whatever those are, and I am not some tourist.
A terrier, sweetheart, are the ugly bastards who keep us Aethoniers in line. That's how I got these. Every slip-up and slowdown adds to the contract, and I mark each one so they don't get from me a second more.
There's so many.
I'll be paying off my time till the day I die, and hopefully not a moment longer.
I'm looking for a car. 35 Chimera.
Pretty fancy. And what would a car like that be doing in a place like this?
Some goon in a black hat stole it. Figured he'd try to dump it once he got what he wanted.
Pity.
Right, so we can go with a dicey skill roll, we can go with a bribe, which is honestly pretty affordable. Or we can pursue the topic we unlocked, which does feel like our best bet.
You're having a problem with your water supply?
War's changed priorities for the Undercity. Water's being rerouted, and there's not enough of the good stuff to go around.
Is it a filtration issue? Something pressure related? Or does it have to do with the temperature regulation?
Don't know. Sounds like you might know a thing or two, though.
The pauper sinks deep into thought. We might as well be having a conversation with a statue.
Friends with Cress Carter, huh? All right.
The armed shadow stares blankly towards us, his pale blue glass eyes casting unknown intent at me and the kid before pounding the space behind him.
And watch yourself.
He melts back into the industrial decay behind him, never once taking his eyes off us, his disembodied voice echoing out one last time.
Or you'll see us again real soon.
Again, really love those occasional illustration inserts. Really add some extra narrative impact.
Every darkened cranny becomes a potential peephole while we stand there. Like walking to confession blindfolded in a packed cathedral. I can feel hundreds of unseen eyes watching, waiting for a single misstep.
He gave me the heebie-jeebies. Do you think he...
She's interrupted by a gush of stale air riding the echoes of countless thumping Aether machines.
Topsiders? Why are you here? Hurry, out with it, we're busy.
And here we go. Let's see. Shh. If Harold let them through...
Harold's been wrong before.
Hello, I'm Maria. This is my husband, Alexander.
Hello, nice to meet you. I'm Nellie. This is Gia. We're not here to bother you while you work on... Oh, is that part of an Aether substructure power converter? I've always wondered about the older infrastructure.
Nellie, that's not why we're...
Right. Gia's friend, Cress, she's an Aethanier also. She sent us here because we need your help to find this car of ours that has some important stuff hidden away inside.
Too desperate, too vulnerable. I lob a cough towards Nellie, hoping she'd quit her rambling so I could get a word in.
Cress sent you? That girl. Fine, let's hear it.
You and Cress close?
We're Aether rats. We're all related. One big happy family.
Lexi, don't be an ass. They're Cress's friends. At least be nice for her sake.
She's running around with all these topsiders causing trouble. And now she risks the three of us. She should know better.
It's a subtle movement. Alexander sends an involuntary glance towards Maria's abdomen before matching my eyes. I couldn't be sure if he was angrier that I caught him, or that he slipped something so personal.
You know what? That's fair. That's a good reason to be anxious.
These tunnels...
They're so big. Where did they go? Everywhere? Can you get to any part of the island from here? Have you ever gotten lost?
I've known too many smugglers who've disappeared trying to find their way through Aether rat tunnels. Success promises an unseen and untraceable smuggling route. Failure costs you your life.
No. Aether rats don't get lost. We can smell our way through miles of...
Lexi, would you cut that out? Please, it's an innocent enough question.
This tunnel can get you through most of the barony. If you know where you are going. But don't try it. You'll end up stuck in the dark or taking a one-way trip to Old New York.
A 35 Chimera, dumped recently. Have you seen anything? Alexander breaks his scowl with an impish eye and a cracked smile. He knows exactly what we want, and he is going to wring us dry for it.
Maybe. We'll need something in return, though. Harold says you know hydraulic engineering. Is this true? Can you create substitute filtration parts?
With the right equipment and a blueprint, maybe? I don't have any on hand, though. I'd also need time to formulate possible solutions.
Maybes are not enough. We need working parts, now. Eli's new war means that all non-essential requisitions are delayed. That includes water filtration equipment for the Undercity. Now, our water is becoming Aether-tainted.
We can't afford any more of us getting sick. Eli's terriers are already forcing longer and longer shifts to compensate for the fewer numbers.
That's terrible. Of course we'll help. We'll get you everything you need. How do we...
Hang on a sec. Before we agree to anything, I need to know what we're getting into. How much is this info going to cost me?
Water filtration parts, new ones. 1 or 2 crates should do the trick. The more the better.
Aethaniers should have priority. But Eli's leaving you without water?
Should be, but the Barony's quartermaster says the war means less for us and more for the army.
He's a good man at heart. We have leeway with him, more than with the other officers, but...
Natsuko's a soldier, not a man. He's choked us from the supplies we need for years. Now, with the war, he has every excuse to squeeze tighter.
How'd any part of White Street lose out on clean water? I thought that's all Eli cared about, aside from his wars.
Our water is kept separate from the rest of the Baron's supply. That way, terriers can reward us with clean water if we run low.
With our own supply of fresh water becoming smaller, we have to use water tainted by Aether use. Or find ways to make the terriers give us extra.
Why would Eli risk the lives of his Aethoniers? You keep his islands afloat. If you all start falling sick, his islands are going to start dropping too.
We've asked his terriers the same question. All we get back is, get back to work.
You'll have those parts, but I'll want to know where my car is as soon as we're back.
You have a deal. Thank you.
Don't trust the quartermaster. Watch yourself around the scrapyard. It's a dangerous place.
And Gia. The man leans forward, grabbing my arm and pulling me in close out of earshot of his wife. Do not bring any heat back here. If you risk the safety of my family, then you can consider your car lost for good. Here. This address used to house a friend of the rats. It's empty now. Use it to lie low if you can't help yourself from getting into trouble. Alex releases his stone grip and a slip of paper into my hand. Nellie takes his quick, hushed intercession as a desperate request for success.
We'll get everything you need, I promise.
Poor kid. She has no idea.
Yeah, pretty much no matter how this goes, things aren't necessarily going to get better for Alex and Maria. At best, we can offer short-term solutions, stopgap measures to help them get by until the next inevitable crisis. That does just seem to be the inherent nature of the setting, barring complete systemic change. Which, as I've said before, I do appreciate. A common pitfall of many a CRPG or visual novel is to provide solutions that are a bit too blatantly black and white, like one is good and the other is bad, almost cartoonishly so. But despite the very fanciful, anachronistic setting, Aether and Iron really does play to those shades of gray. The current quartermaster is clearly skimming off the top, but replacing him isn't necessarily going to improve the situation, because, he'll just inevitably be replaced by someone else who also is already part of the White Street's hierarchy. We're stopped at a checkpoint manned by White Street officers whose sneers are tighter than their uniforms. I get the feeling these are no shift-clocking schlubs. All whitecaps stink like rotten pork, but these ones seem to be wrapped in fancier dumplings.
Who are they?
If I had to guess, White Street Intelligence. General Eli's secret police.
Oh boy.
You said it. Just keep cool. After a moment of tense quiet, they wave us through. All right, move along. Apparently, we're not the particular field mice these hawks are hunting for, and I'm not about to give them a second chance to swoop. As we burn Aether and leave them behind, I let out a breath I didn't realize I'd been holding.
Whew. I hope that won't be a problem on the way back.
Well, I mean, if they weren't before, they definitely are now. So, thanks for bringing it up. But I suppose that was apt to happen either way. Nothing's ever easy.
If the lifeblood of White Street is industrial refuse, then the scrapyard is its beating heart. From his steel parapet overlooking the yard, the quartermaster governs this realm of rubble with determination.
Okay, let's have a look around. The massive cargo elevator locals call the Beanstalk is one of the last remnants of pre-Aether tech, relying on grit, machinery, and braided steel to plunder the refuse of the old world. The main lot is in constant, noisy motion, a cacophony of combustion engines and sparking steel. When you look past the grime, it's a place of ferocious efficiency and discipline.
I spot a crate of water filter parts inside the quartermaster's office. Can't lift him while he's standing there, though.
Fair. Like his scrapyard, the quartermaster's in a perpetual state of activity. Maybe a nice turkey club once in a while might have resulted in fewer gray hairs for the old soldier.
Not while he's here.
Also fair. The quartermaster is a decorated veteran and displays his war memorabilia with pride. Strikes me as odd. From what I've heard about the Philippines, wouldn't you want to forget? Ooh, ominous. Okay, let's chat.
The quartermaster would have a friendly, likable face if it wasn't lined with the stress and fatigue of a lifetime of devotion to Eli. It's clear as we approach he's neglecting 7 other things by talking to us. Sergeant Major Lutzko, I'm Gia Rendazzo, and this is Nellie.
Pleasure, girls. Sorry about the state of things around here. I don't often host such fine company. What brings you to the scrapyard?
It's a pleasure to meet you as well. You see, we're looking for...
Just a few minutes of your time, then we'll get out of your hair. Sir, how do you get along with the Aethaniers in White Street?
They keep to their own mostly. And that's fine by me. Why?
Well, they're not getting the supplies they need to survive, you see.
And there's our heat tutorial. Which is an interesting mechanic, because aside from just the purely skill-based bonuses and penalties that it lists here, it also makes the island an inherently more dangerous place the higher the level gets, capping out around 6 or so. At least in theory. I'm not sure how much they've actually got that implemented in the current demo. During my first test run, I deliberately kept the heat level as low as possible since I was running a smarts-based character. So I might try something a bit different this time around, just to see what happens. Plus, of course, we are a fairly brassy dame. We will technically benefit, but also potentially suffer. Though I suppose it also depends on whether or not they let us skip the safe house. That might be hardwired into the tutorial. And you're what? A lawyer or something?
His eyelid twitches. He's getting impatient already. So I take it you served with General Tillinghast, is that right? Where were you posted?
Yeah, the Philippines. Tough tour. Wouldn't have made it without the general. Saved my sorry hide more times than I care to count. Ah, but you don't want to hear about all that.
I think you must have been very brave to do what you did. And it's plain to see you and the General are very close. He's lucky to have you around, I think.
Subtle. Thank you, Nell. You're sweet as a Georgia peach, ain't you? Thanks, Missy. He's an extraordinary man. A real visionary, you know?
And what's he envisioning for White Street exactly?
The General's been beating back the Huns at our gate for as long as anyone can remember. You mark my word, ladies. These islands will never fall. And one day, they'll be shinier than the heights.
Stars fill the old soldier's eyes, a proud stiffness rejuvenating his weary frame. Talking about his boss transforms him into a younger and more zealous figure. It's almost tender, in a strange, skin-crawling kind of way. You deal with a lot of lawyer types?
There are Aethanier lawyers? Do they go to law school? Can they go to law school? What sort of law do they practice?
The sneaky kind, sweetheart. Yeah, the rats have pet snakes, and thankfully, no. We don't get a lot of them up here. They're nothing but trouble.
Oh.
Burrowed into those libraries of theirs, poring over contracts, looking for loopholes, taking advantage of the system. Making a lot of red tape and wasted time for people like me.
He scowls. I decide it's best we ease off. Well, that's just what we want to avoid. Forget I said anything.
Oof. Well, kind of a coin toss either way, but we'll go with the direct approach. That's a bit more in our character.
Look, we don't want to waste your time. You got a job to do, and so do we. We're here to make sure the Aetherians get what they need. Can you help?
Sorry, girls. Times are tough all around, and I don't got nothing against the rats, but if I just start giving stuff away, what's next? Sparkling water? Topside privileges? Extra rations? No can do.
All right, well, thanks anyway.
No. I'm afraid that won't cut it, sir. These people need help. There must be something you can do.
I expect the kid's outburst to earn us a stern reprimand. Instead, I watch as her plea melts the walls of ice built up around the old man's heart. He regains his businesslike manner, but too late. We've seen through the facade.
Oh, interesting. Okay, well that did not come up during my test run. Yeah, back then, I passed the checks. So there were never any hints that he might actually have a genuine soft spot for the Aetherians. It's actually really nice to see that even failing a skill check can still potentially give you something you might have otherwise missed. Ah, jeez. Look, you want to help so bad. Maybe you can help me. I got this thorn in my side. A scrapper bandit on the lowest levels who thinks he can edge in on White Street territory. Calls himself a king, if you can believe that. You can find all sorts of useful stuff down the beanstalk. Water filtration parts even. I'd be happy to let you down there to have a look. So long as you report back to me with good news about my scrapper problem. Capiche?
It's as good a deal as we're likely to get. The kid looks to me, and I try not to let my poker face slide. You see many scrappers up here?
Oh, yeah. Trash like that floats up from the burrows all the time.
I've read about them.
I'm sure you have, sweetheart. But what the books won't tell you is that those animals have lost the ability to reason, sometimes even to speak. Amazes me they can steer a car in a straight line.
I think of the grit and sunlight and desperate optimism of my childhood, back in the burrows, and the haze of nostalgia threatens to overwhelm my hard-earned calm. I bite my tongue and sour iron fills my mouth.
We'll keep an eye out.
Thank you for your time, sir.
Yeah. Thanks for dropping by, ladies.
With a forced smile, he picks up a clipboard and walks off, shouting orders down at machine operators, and leaving us to look out over the yard alone.
Alone, you say?
The gangway behind us squeals under a heavy step, and I turn to see a black-clad stiff trying to pass us a counterfeit smile. He puts down a half-drunk carton of milk and goose steps into our path, ever so politely blocking our exit.
Well, so much for that.
Good afternoon. Intelligence Officer Randall Pitt. And you are?
His feet are welded to the iron below, and the pins on his jacket identify him as one of the highest-ranking hogs in the White Street pen. There's no moving this one unless he wants to move. Gia Randazzo, and this is my sister, Nell.
Smooth. Yeah, she looks just like you. Well done.
A pleasure, madams. And what, may I ask, is the purpose of your meeting with Quartermaster Lutzko today?
What's it to you, Mac? The officer's eyes flick upward, scanning my face with the practiced arrogance of a bully who's never had to throw a single punch. I return his gaze with a frosted steel stare of my own.
Miss Randazzo, was it? Just a few questions and you can be on your way. No need for you to escalate them.
His reptilian eyes flick from me to Nellie, greedily drinking in our details. This one's the type to seek out power and authority purely as an excuse to start fires wherever he wants. And he's oily enough to be a hazard around any open flame. We were just hoping Lutzko could help us find something.
And what is it you're hoping to find?
Excuse me, but don't you think that's a bit personal?
Run-of-the-mill scrap. Spare parts. I got this lemon, see, and she needs a lot of love.
Which, to be fair, is technically true. Best way to lie is to couch it in truth.
I see. And what is it you do for a living, exactly?
Deliveries.
Cargo transport mostly. Interbarony import-export.
Nice.
Really? And do you enjoy it?
Oh, always.
Also nice.
He catches the sarcasm like a maniac's shortstop and offers a wan little smile.
Wow, Gia. You were almost a competent manipulator there for a moment, aside from the sister thing. Being evasive or obstinate invites suspicion. Though sadly, I think we've already given him an in.
Anyway, listen to me prattle on. I get flustered when faced with such ravishing beauty, you see. For sisters, you don't look that much alike. Do people tell you that often?
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Oh, he's loving this. Savoring every second like we're a pair of potato knish, fresh out of the oven. Which means, of course, he's about to bite.
I trust a pair of such good little New York girls would promptly report it if they were made aware of any illicit activity on the part of Sergeant Major Lutzko. Correct?
What do you mean, illicit?
Oh, you know, illegal, wrong, things that would demand a transfer of leadership here into more capable hands. Anything he shouldn't be doing.
How would I know what he should or shouldn't be doing? His smile flashes in and out of existence so quick, you could argue it never happened. In an instant, his officious familiarity vanishes.
How charming. Now, you and your sister can testify to what you know, or we can take this up with General Tillinghast. Your choice.
Doesn't take a genius to figure Lutzko's into something dirtier than his own soot-stained uniform. I share a look with Nellie, whose sparkling eyes are relying on me to navigate us out of these shark-infested waters. What's he in trouble for, anyway?
Treason, malfeasance, embezzlement. Supplies deemed vital to the war effort have disappeared, only to be found later on the black market, or in the possession of degenerates.
He didn't need to specify which degenerates he was referring to. Apparently rats wasn't cruel enough.
The punishment for which is death, of course, by grounding.
Grounding? Is that...
Yeah, kid. The long drop and the sudden stop.
It's justice, my dear. Traitors pay their deficit in loyalty with blood.
I'll tell you what I don't know. Why I've never met you before. Promoted recently? A hungry look comes over him, like a fox delighted by the rabbit who dares to fight back.
I pride myself on subtlety, my dear. Nobody knows I'm around, unless I want them to.
How nice for us. He's inching closer, and his military-issue aftershave doesn't do much to mask the fetid milk stink of his breath. I maintain the distance between us. Not rude, but not too subtle either. He squints, unsmiling.
Let's get back to the topic at hand, shall we?
Oh boy, I do not like this guy. I mean, Let's Go's not great either, but Pitt is the pits. We'll play it cool for the time being.
Look, pal, we just met the guy. Do whatever you want, it's got nothing to do with us. Now we got business to take care of, so if you don't mind... A sneer paints itself slowly across the officer's mug. If he had an angle, he'd use it, but he doesn't.
Very well. It was a distinct pleasure. Till we meet again.
Oh, thank you, officer. Goodbye.
No.
He peels himself out of our path as slowly and painfully as an overglued bandage on a fresh wound. With a final colorless smile, he turns towards the quartermaster's office. Inside, Let's Go spots him, and the old man's Adam's apple bounces like a kid on a trampoline.
Oh boy. You know, it's funny because obviously if Pitt had actually approached us a bit more diplomatically, we might have actually seriously considered his request. Since it is pretty clear that Let's Go is in fact up to no good, skimming off the top, depriving people of needed supplies, etc. But because he's so smarmy, it's tough to work myself up to it. How do we get out of here? There's no exit button. Okay, so it turns out we had to talk to Nell, and I will tactfully refrain from mentioning how long it took me to realize that.
I don't think I like that Officer Pitt very much.
Oh? I can't imagine why.
That's only because you've got working eyes and ears. Stay away from him, all right?
You don't have to tell me twice.
Still, seems to me we've got options.
We do?
Well, whether we play it the quartermaster's way, or throw him under Pitt's repulsors, you and I still come out with the parts for Alexander and Maria.
I see. But what'll happen to the scrapyard if the quartermaster's arrested by White Street Intelligence?
You never know. Let's Go seems all right, but he's not exactly running a tight ship here. With someone like Pitt in charge, the Aetherians might get more reliable supplies.
But then the restrictions imposed on them may get even worse. Boy, there aren't any easy answers in the lowers, are there?
Yeah, I mean, there really aren't. We are basically choosing between the lesser of two evils. Either Let's Go, who does seem to have some sympathy for them, but is still nonetheless taking advantage of them. I mean, he's the one who got them into this situation in the first place. Not to mention, of course, he's now asked us to murder a man just to cover up his crimes. Whereas Pitt, you know, he's obviously a sleazebag, but he also does seem to be pretty by the book. Otherwise, he would have found some more conniving way to take Let's Go down. That's not to say he would be better for the Aetherians, but he would at least, presumably, play it straight.
You catch on fast for an academic. Do you understand what the old man's asking us to do?
Well, sure. Head down the beanstalk, find the parts we need, and ask this King Scrapper to respect the quartermaster's territory, right?
Yeah, ask, quote unquote.
Ask? No. We won't be asking.
Well, I got the quotation mark part right.
I pat my sidearm, and the color drains from her face.
Wait, I know this is a rough neighborhood, but surely, can't we reason with him?
You don't know the boroughs like I do, kid. Down there, you don't become a scrapper unless you got no other choice. And if this one is edging into White Street turf, then he's really desperate.
But we can't just... I mean...
If he gives me a chance to say hello before he starts shooting, we'll give him a fair shake, okay? But I can't promise anything. This is the job. This...
Isn't the Heights, yes, right, I know. This all just takes some getting used to, you know?
I don't know if I've mentioned it yet, but I actually really like the way that Gia and Nellie bounce off each other. I feel like collectively they make a very nice narrative framework for the setting to help give the player a more nuanced view of what this world is like. They both come at the setting from two very different directions and filter it through their personal lenses. Gia with her realistic, grounded view, but also untainted with pessimism and her stubborn streak, versus, Nellie, obviously, with her naive optimism, but also her adaptable academic mindset. I feel like it creates a nice contrast. Anyway, we've got our first full-on auto shop, so let's see what we can do here. We've got some stock engines. Plain, but still an upgrade from our current scrap engine. Ooh, but that's even better. A reinforced engine. For comparison, I believe our current scrap engine has 7 AP. Plus efficient repulsors. Much more modest, plus 1 AP. And of course, armor plating. Caltrip dropper. That's interesting. Though very low damage. I'm not sure that's worth the price. And a wad of grease. Reroll a grease monkey check, which I believe is a single time use item. Oh, also jumping repulsor. Lets you jump over intervening vehicles. That's fun. But I think we got to start with the basics. We don't have a ton of cash to spare, so let's go ahead and grab that reinforced engine. That'll be a full 5-point swing on AP. We could also swing some armor, though that would also pretty much tap us on cash. Feels like an innately bad idea. Never know when you might need to bribe someone. Let's go ahead and get that engine equipped and make sure we sell off the spare. Otherwise, that eats a lot of car space. Oh yeah, we're not getting much for that, but that's fine. It was literally a piece of junk. And yeah, we'll hold off on the rest. See how the scrapyard treats us. Might come back though. Alright, let's see what we got. For a moment, I think I'm seeing things. Looks like a scrap pile is moving all by itself, until I spot the dark shapes of street urchins on its surface, like flies gnawing a steak left out in the sun. Hey, seen anything around here that we could use for water filtration?
I'm not sure they'll be familiar with that sort of terminology, Gia. What about...
You mean the mechanical or the fancy carbon type? Ain't seen none today, but Spunky found a whole box of rubber flanges yesterday. No cracks or nothing. You want it, you gotta pay. I'm too busy enjoying the shock on Nellie's face to notice the White Street patrol car pull around into my blind spot. You ain't authorized to be here. I mean, technically we are. The quartermaster did give us permission. Interesting. I did not have that option last time around, and that was with a successful skill check. But since he did specifically send us down here to deal with the scrappers, I guess we can now leverage that. Actually, I'm here on official business. Quartermaster's orders. And we're supposed to just take your word on that. If you want to take care of the scrappers for me, I won't complain. You kissed your wife goodbye this morning, right? His eyes take on a thick, glazed look as he processes this. Then he turns his bovine gaze to the urchin. Give her what she wants. Oh, what? This is our scrap. She gotta pay. Now, you little puke. And not another peep out of you. Oh, well that's actually a bit more mean-spirited than I really wanted, but sure. The guard watches as the kid spitefully hands me the part and turns to spit on the ground. I give them both a wink as we drive off. Sorry, kid. Nothing personal. Oh, though that is not what I was expecting. I thought we were bargaining for water filtration parts, but apparently we instead got a crate of rare components. Pretty basic trade goods, but I mean, yeah, we'll take them. Not like we have much choice. Not what the Aetherians are looking for, but worth a penny or two. You know, I think even if you do pay them, they don't give you filtration parts. I think it's basically always a bait and switch. So maybe I shouldn't feel bad.
The busted chunk of an island's underside rusts in the sun, laying precariously on a crushed tenement building. Broken detritus and snapped cabling hangs down close to the street.
Oh, this is perfect! See that? If that old Aether repulsor's not damaged, the parts could easily be repurposed for water filtration.
Oof, I mean, Nelly, not exactly our area of expertise, but odds are slightly in our favor, so sure. Why not?
Once we're parked, she runs off and gets to work, untangling pieces of equipment, reaching up on her tippy toes to pull down bundles of wire.
Well, start over there with the equalizer piping.
Lovely.
Damned if I know what equalizer piping is, but I follow her finger and start pulling at some ceramic hose. Her approving nod tells me I'm on the right track, and after a few minutes of work, she turns to me and grins. We load up our scrap and head out.
Two stacks of water filter parts. Fantastic. That is what we're here for. Though I do notice they're marked as contraband, and we don't have enough concealed spaces to hide them, so we'll have to hope for the best on the way back out.
We load up our scrap and head out. There's no mistaking the throaty grumble of a scrapper rig on the prowl, all sizzling oil and sparking ozone. Many scrappers are perfectly decent people just trying to survive. I can tell without looking that ain't the case with this one.
Couple of floaters all alone, eh? Easy pickings. Yeah, good luck with that. Hey, we staked our claim on this scrap. I mean, buddy, if you'd come at me with that first, I might have actually negotiated. But instead, you got super creepy about it.
Too bad. Finders keepers, pal.
And fight number 2. This time with an ever so slightly more complicated battle map. But yeah, I mean, with an average of one fight every 2 hours, you can definitely see why I feel like this one, despite having CRPG elements, really does kind of lean more into the realm of the visual novel over a full-on CRPG. Though I'll also say that I am seeing signs of, like, generally diverging paths. It took a while to get there, but I do feel like the Quartermaster and the whole scrapyard scenario do mark the first point of real choice and consequence. Outside of just following along with the largely linear prologue. Civilians falling back. Scrapper 1 should wreck momentarily. Yep, there he goes. Which leaves Scrapper 2, who's way too far back to actually reach us. And we've got a closing lane on right. Technically 2. Let's see if we can maybe... Oh, no, we can't double ram yet. But we can still do some damage. Mind the bystanders. And we're good.
You all right? Yes, I'm okay. Thank you. You grew up with those people?
A different time, kid. A different life.
Yeah, important to remember that vehicles do not cease to exist simply because you defeated them. You knock someone out, whoever's behind them will crash right into them. Ooh, reroll an enforcer check. Fairly certain that's a one-time thing, but still. As long as you've got the space for it, certainly doesn't hurt. Though, speaking of space, we should go dump this engine before we do anything else. We want at least a 1x2. Are we damaged? No, I feel like we're at full. Then again, they probably didn't place that particular tutorial with the assumption you'd have the regen perk. Either way, we have to swing by the shop. Let's do that real quick. Then we'll get into one last scrap. Yeah, we'll go ahead and dump the rare components too. I think that is just vendor trash. Man, it is a shame they don't sell any storage modules here. We could definitely use more cargo space. Especially concealed space. And once more into the breach.
This is the closest to the burrows I've been in years. If I look off the edge, I might even be able to see where I was born. I keep my distance. The quartermaster wouldn't need my help if it were just a rogue scrapper or two. I've got to find the real problem, my real target.
Gia, what's that?
She points out the passenger window at the dark shape of a scrapper clunker, its burnished surface glinting as it swoops down to intercept us. Its markings, from grease splashed like war paint across the hood to the scars and gouges of previous fights, suggest a high rank. That is who we're here to find. As the car pulls up alongside us, an even and untroubled voice squawks out at us.
Hello there. Looking for something, little bird? We don't take kindly to thieves around here. I expect you knew that already.
He didn't open the dialogue by opening fire, so I take that as an encouraging sign. Nellie's looking at me expectantly. I better choose my words carefully as we pull over. You familiar with White Street's quartermaster?
Lutzko? Sure. He's the only man who puts food on my table.
He said scrappers like you were cutting into his territory down here.
And he sent you to come take care of me, did he?
A distorted, bitter laugh coughs out of the man.
Never did trust that old leatherback. So, he wants me out of the picture. Wasn't long ago he slapped this in my palm.
The scrapper leans out his window and proffers a folded piece of paper. I can see the quartermaster's stamp even before I grab it. It's a personal letter, promising pay for extra security for the Lutzko's goods as they travel the beanstalk.
Right, so he did basically just ask us to murder his accomplice, since he knows he's under investigation. That's a pretty big mark against him. Just feeling guilty about what he's doing definitely doesn't undo what he is still doing. He might feel bad about it now, but that still didn't stop him from trying to leverage the situation to push us to kill his loose end.
Sneaky bastard.
You can say that again. Guess I've outlived my usefulness. Question is, what are you gonna do now?
His arm disappears inside his car again. No telling what he's got aimed at me behind that door. I decide the diplomatic approach is best. You let me keep this letter, and I'll let you be on your way. Fair?
Fair.
Right, so we now have evidence against Let's Go. Exactly what Pitt wants.
How are things groundside these days? It's been a while.
Same as always.
The bitterness in his voice betrays no lie. The burrows are still the same as I left them. Hot in the daytime, freezing at night. Harsh winds carrying skin-slicing dust. Short on clean water, fresh food, and hope. Some things never change. I still hang my boots out the window at night.
You really are Burroughs' kid.
The scrapper and I share a sharp-toothed grin, and I savor the puzzled look on Nellie's face.
Yeah, I'm not going to fight this guy. I think it's pretty safe to say at this point we're not helping Let's Go cover up his crimes. I mean, maybe if he agreed to help the Aetherians without requiring murder, like he did back in my test game. But as it stands here, reframed by his request, I think we'll take him down. See how the Aetherians fare with his replacement.
I'm not here to steal from anybody. I'll pay for what I claim. I'm looking for water filter parts. Got any on you?
Matter of fact, I do have something that might work in a pinch.
Very nice. And of course also a good example of why you want to keep cash on hand. Though, to be fair, we could have also just killed him and taken it, I assume. Were we of a mind to do it?
Guess we go our separate ways then.
Fine by me. You be careful out there.
You too, bud.
His engine roars as he peels away, and I hear Nellie exhale next to me.
I don't think Mr. Quartermaster is going to be happy with us.
Can't please everyone, kid.
Ain't that the truth? That aside, it's probably safe to say he's not going to be around long enough for his disappointment to matter. But we will see. I think we're pretty much done down here, so let's roll up top. See how this particular sordid tale ends. Or at least the short-term consequences. Obviously, this is just an encapsulated demo. Intelligence officers swarm every path out of the scrapyard, their black uniforms dotting the landscape like spots on a coal-black Dalmatian. There's so many, Gia. There's no getting through that without staining that dress of yours. We'll have to go back to Pitt if we want to get out of here alive.
When we pull up to the quartermaster's office, there's a troop of secret police attending Let's Go and Pitt inside. Neither one looks pleased to be sharing the same air with the other.
I suppose this is what they call the moment of truth?
You suppose right. How do you want to play it? She looks surprised, as though she didn't expect me to source an opinion. You want to learn how things work in the lowers, Doctor? There's the tough choice and the tougher choice. So choose.
Well, as I said, I'm not exactly well-versed in White Street military politics, and I've only gathered minimal data on the relevant parties so far. There are other considerations, too, like...
No, you're overthinking it. What does your gut tell you?
It tells me we should help the quartermaster. Even if times are tough for Alexander and Maria. I can't see them improving if that pitman takes control here.
She's not wrong. But she doesn't know the kind of suffering a man like Lutzko can cause, even if he means well. She's never lived a life where you can happily choose a pit, knowing at least there'll be food on your table.
Yeah. Both are bad for the Aetherians, just, in two slightly different ways. One out of greed, the other out of contempt.
No easy way out. There never is. I open the door to the office, and the Whitecaps look up expectantly.
Ladies, you're back. I was just...
Ah, the Randazzo sisters. How very good to see you again.
Okay. So, even with the evidence, we're still skill-gated, which I will say is one of the first things we run into that I'm not a fan of. Because that does kind of remove some of the player agency by essentially turning whatever you choose into a coin toss, unless you just happen to have training in the appropriate skill. And even then, it's still technically a coin toss, just slightly weighted in your favor. I feel like just playing dumb or handing over evidence shouldn't take a skill check. I mean, those are pretty basic actions. But trying to get tricky with it, like blaming the scrappers, or actively lying, or trying to negotiate for a better reward, should require skill rolls. Since in those cases you're obviously complicating what is otherwise a fairly basic binary decision involving the evidence. Are you handing it over, or are you not? Hey, and look at that. We successfully handed him some evidence. If just barely.
Your quartermaster here has been hiring help from the burrows, using scrappers as personal mercenaries.
I see. And do you have any proof to support such a claim?
I hand him the scrapper boss's letter, which he reads swiftly and without any apparent satisfaction. He toots, shaking his head in exaggerated disappointment.
Oh, Theodore. Dear, oh dear. I'm afraid this won't do it all.
Then he snaps his fingers, and one of his cronies cuffs the quartermaster. The king of the scrapyard is led out in irons, disgraced before his entire realm. Lutzko squints in Pitt's direction as he's ushered past.
Just throw me over the railing, why don't you? Less paperwork that way.
No, Sergeant Major. When you fall to your death, it will be with a hood over your head, a blessing from the chaplain and all your brothers in arms in attendance.
The goons pull him away without another word, leaving me and Nellie in the whistling wind of the high platform, unsure whether what we just saw was justice or tyranny or neither. I catch Nellie's whisper at my shoulder.
Gia, did we do the right thing?
You ask me, his death warrant was signed before we got here. I'm more worried that someone like Pitt knows our faces now. We'll have to be careful in White Street from now on.
Yeah, well, that was gonna happen either way. Hey, level up. Yeah, in my test run, I sided with Lutzko. And Pitt basically swore revenge for undermining his investigation. As for a level up, we'll go ahead and grab that Ram perk. We've got one more fight ahead of us, I believe.
Pitt's looking at me and Nellie like a father watching his kids open gifts on Christmas morning. His satisfaction is nauseating.
I must congratulate the two of you for your service to White Street today. Here, this is your due reward for your dedication. Let it never be said I'm not a generous man.
Oh, gosh, you shouldn't have. Well, actually,
He winks a hooded lid, and I taste bile in my throat.
What's going to happen to Mr. Lutzko?
I mean, Nellie, I feel like they pretty clearly established what's happening to him.
Oh, that's none of your concern, my dear. This operation will be turned over to my control.
And the Aetherians? They'll get the supplies they need?
Your sympathy is touching, Miss Randazzo, if misplaced. Don't fret. I'll be sure everyone in the district gets exactly what they deserve.
Thanks, that does put my mind at ease.
He flashes a grin that says goodbye in a language that needs no interpreter. I manage to jerk out a curt nod as he walks off.
I will say, having now seen this particular end of the quest, I assume Pitt becomes an antagonist regardless, but having that card might actually come in handy.
Those look like good parts for the Aetherians. Nobody around to miss them.
I mean, I feel like Pitt's right there, but sure. And how about this?
The quartermaster's old mahogany desk boasts a conspicuous drawer with an ornate lock. No key in sight, though.
Oh, gosh, no. Okay, we're not even going to bother rolling on that one. We would need a 10 or higher, even without modifiers, but our current heat level imposes an additional -2, so we would actually have to roll a 12 just to hit that minimum threshold.
No need to steal from the quartermaster today.
We do have the safe house option, I'm just not sure we want to do that.
Gia, things got a bit hot back there, didn't they?
I'm running with too much heat, and with a fever like this, I can't risk spreading it to Alex and Maria. We need to pull over, lie low, and let the Whitecaps move on. There's a place nearby.
I think we should visit that safe house Maria told us about. She did say we might need it.
Oh, weird. Complete mismatch on the dialogue there. Oh, safe house. That's so exciting. We're like spies or undercover agents. I'm not tired, so I can take first watch if you need a nap. Though, I don't have a gun. Do you have an extra?
She's nervous and she doesn't know what to expect next. That doesn't make her wrong, though.
Kid, if we need guns at a safe house, it's not doing its job. And we're in a world of hurt. Right, so they are prodding us towards the safe house, but I don't know if it's mandatory because they also do seem to still be displaying the other potential destinations. Plus Liberty Auto. You know what? Give me a sec to do some quick trading. I'm gonna think on that. Armored up, greased up. You know what? Let's go for it. I think we can take some heat, assuming it'll actually let us try. That'll let us retain our current +2 on brass rolls. The only real downside being that if we don't reset to 0, we have no chance of really opening that drawer back in the quartermaster's office. But I think I can live with that.
Is it just me, or is it a little hot?
Traffic's even more backed up at the checkpoint now, and it's choked with secret police. Looks like all the commotion at the scrapyard has got the bees buzzing. Not just you, kid. We've definitely picked up some heat.
Gia, the cargo for the Aetherians. We can't let them find it. Maybe we ought to visit that safe house Maria mentioned.
Wow, they're actually giving us an option. Okay. And they're hitting us with the classic, "Are you sure?" You know what, game? I think I am. we've got bribes, we've got brass. And if those fail, we've got bullets. Let's give it a shot. Nellie, I think I'm capable of smooth-talking a couple of checkpoint guards.
If you say so.
Traffic grinds to a stop. Soldiers and intelligence officers are casing each car for contraband.
What's the plan?
That is a good question. I've never actually done this, so I guess we're just kind of playing it by ear. Talk through, drive through. Ooh, or present forged ID papers. Which I think we could have actually purchased from Let's Go. Though obviously not an option given how things played out. Also very expensive. I want to say they were like $50. And possibly single use? I am slightly surprised we can't use Pitt's card. Though perhaps that'll come up if we talk. Don't sweat it. Watch this. The car ahead is waved through, and I pull up to the guard. Let's keep this simple. Is there anything in your vehicle I'd want to know about? You know what, officer? There actually is. I found this contraband while I was driving around, and I've been looking for somewhere to turn it in. You look dead on your feet, soldier. Here, why don't you take a break? You know, usually that would be enough. But I've heard reports of some troublemaking sorts on the island. That wouldn't happen to be you, would it? Oh, boy. Okay, well. There's trouble on every corner of this island, bud. You could be looking for anyone. Yeah. I could be looking for anyone. Anyone with a fast mouth happy to run it. You fit the bill just fine. Out of the car. Yeah, that probably went about as well as we could have hoped it would. Stop those criminals! Ooh, variable victory conditions. Defeat foes or survive 4 rounds. Duly noted. And yeah, actually defeating them does seem pretty manageable. But for now, we'll just go for the evasion. With our reinforced engine, we can theoretically just outdistance them. Oh, maybe not. It does look like there is an edge on the map. Let's see if that extends when they move up on us. It might be like a variable edge based on the farthest foe.
You need to pull over now!
Nice, nice. Yeah, they're really struggling with that traffic.
You're cruising for a bruising!
What? Really? Come on, man. Alright, you know what? That's fair. I did put a gun in your throat. But, gosh darn it. Okay, well. There is a hard edge on the map, so, I guess we fight.
Great balls of fire! My transmission!
Sorry. And, now you, I guess. Ah, I was hoping it would go all the way down the chain. bullets left. Not enough to fire. Man, that cabbie really did mess us up. He lit us on fire, and he took out some of our traffic cover. Oh, snap. And they also have front mounts. I did not realize those were a thing. I mean, it does make sense. I just didn't see any my first time through the demo. All right, let's go ahead and nudge one of these pickups into the patrol car behind us. Oh, come on, man. Not enough AP for anything else. We'll tuck in. Hopefully deprive the other pickup of an open shot. It's funny, the Caltrips actually would have helped us here. Though it would have also done a lot of collateral. Rear mount pistol. Okay, that's not too bad. Ram from the pickup. All right, let's wrap this up. And we are good. The checkpoint guards fade into the distance behind you. Man, that was actually pretty exciting. Toughest fight I think I've encountered in the demo. That was far more satisfying than trying to talk my way through the checkpoint. Oh goodness, and they also decided to reward my act of impulsive carnage with cigars and a crate of knives. Interesting combo. Not sure we... Oh yeah, we don't even have room for those. Well, you know what? We can at least squeeze in the cigars, which are the more valuable of the two anyway. We're pretty beat up. We'll go ahead and burn a repair kit. Shuffle a few things around. But yeah, if you actually get rewards for blowing through checkpoints, I could definitely see that being an entirely valid tactic. I'm glad we tried it, though I am curious to see how the Aetherians react. If they are programmed to take actual heat level into account. You know what, let's go ahead and burn that other kit too. We do still have at least one more fight ahead of us. Oh, goodness. +7 heat from running that checkpoint. Potentially made worse by totaling that bystander. And let's drop this stuff off.
Somehow, the place looks even rougher than it did only a few hours ago. There's a pall in the air as thick as the smog. Alexander and Maria catch sight of us and head over, dropping the goggles from their stained faces and treating us to some weak but earnest smiles.
You're back. Do you have what we asked for?
I do, though apparently I can only give you one, which is odd considering I collected 4, but... Here you go.
I'm happy to say we were able to retrieve some excellent parts for you. Here you are.
Thanks, Nell.
The kid magnanimously hands over the scrap, with all the pomp of a mayor handing out the key to the city. I can do you one better.
Hey, there we go. Though I do notice they don't actually give us an option to not hand them all over. It would be nice to have some options there for more opportunistic scoundrels.
I hand over the extra parts we managed to scrounge up. Maria accepts them graciously, and Alexander puts a hand on my shoulder. His dirty cheeks are already lined where he's been crying.
I can't tell you what this means. Things have been hard. Our nephew,
His words freeze in his throat, and Maria puts a consoling arm around him.
Thank you, Gia.
And our deal?
We're true to our word. Poppers spotted a car matching your description by Hero's Arch, past the commercial district at the island's edge. It should still be there. I should tell you, though.
It's all right. Thank you. Next to me, the kid is wilted like a balloon with all the air let out. Her pretty little life in the Heights hasn't prepared her for this. She's had a double shot of reality, with no chaser.
Here, we want you to have this. It's not much, but you really stuck out your necks for us. And we look after our own. I mean, we could use the cash, but also we're almost at the end of the demo, so... You know what? I appreciate the gesture, but I think we're good.
Actually, I think you folks need it more than we do.
No. Insist.
So do I. They're proud, but not too proud to push it. Alexander bites something back, tight-lipped, but his eyes say it all. Usable scrap wasn't all we gave them today. We reminded him not all outsiders are pinstriped jackals with a pen in their hand and gold in their smile.
Just doing my part in this awful world we find ourselves in.
Take this, at least.
Well, you didn't give me a choice, so sure. Thanks.
Don't mention it. As we wave goodbye, the kid leans in and I see a tiny ray of her usual sunshine poke through her cloudy mood.
Gia, that was a really swell thing to do.
Let's get moving. I want my damn car back.
Indeed. Let's go, quote, get our car back, unquote. I'm sure that's exactly how it'll work out after being stuck up here unattended for days. It's not like Alexander was trying to warn us about that before we cut him off. At first, I mistake the sound for a distant car horn, but as it drags on, I realize that's not quite right. It's a curfew siren, rattling my windows with its eerie clarion call. There's a sinking feeling in my gut. With all this heat on me, it was only a matter of time before something like this happened on White Street. On the road ahead, a whitecap waves over the driver in front of me. I have no choice but to slow my own pace to a crawl and pull up my collar.
You there! Gets you in a minute. Got that?
He turns his attention back to the other car. For a moment, I'm not the priority. Oh boy, we might actually be in for another fight here. This is interesting. This definitely did not happen during my test run. It does seem a direct consequence of our current heat. I wait, my hands drumming a staccato beat on the wheel to pass the time. Finished with the other car, the whitecap makes his way over to my driver's side window. This one's got a lopsided frown and coal black eyes.
So...
The officer lights up a new smoke and takes a leisurely drag.
Care to explain to me why you're breaking curfew?
Oof. Oh boy. Yeah, we might be in for another fight here. But let's dig for intel. Since when does White Street have a curfew?
Since some no good thug called 8-Shot Randazzo started raising hell.
I tilt my head, trying to give the impression of idle curiosity. I stubbornly try to ignore the sound of my heart beating as blood rushes to my cheeks. He clocks my fear in an instant, and I feel my mind starting to race. But instead of reaching for his cuffs, he puffs up a little, smirking like some self-appointed knight of White Street.
You know how it is with these smuggler types. It's not safe for a pretty thing like you to be out.
Oh boy, buddy. So he thinks I'm some helpless girl? Fine. I can use that. Nice. We will absolutely take it. I try on a sympathetic half smile, the kind Needles could always use to get himself out of a jam. Here on my face, it fits like it was tailor-made, just for me. Sorry, officer, I didn't know about the curfew. Can you blame a girl? That puts him off his guard. He works the end of the cigarette in his mouth, thinking for a moment before flashing an eager smile back.
Blame got nothing to do with it, miss. You gotta get off the street and back to wherever you came from.
I'll head straight home. Cross my heart.
Okay. I'll let you off with a warning this time. Be safe out there, little lady. Word is 8-Shot Randazzo is on the loose and dangerous.
Oh my. And don't I know it. I drive away, more than a little tickled that 8-Shot slipped right through the grip of White Street's finest. Honestly, it was almost tempting to provoke another fight just for the extra loot, but we are out of repair kits, probably best not to tempt fate if we can avoid it. I would also like to point out that every single White House official, I think, that we've encountered has had different art. They really didn't have to go through that much trouble for a bunch of random mooks, but I appreciate that they did.
My whole livelihood sits there abandoned, abused, and torched beyond recognition, kept company only by effigies to the long dead. The smell of my burnt future still lingers in the cold air.
Oh, Gia, your car! I'm so sorry. This is all my fault.
The vandal who took my car apart was more butcher than surgeon, ripping out the hidden compartments and leaving a gaping hole where Nellie's briefcase had been stored. Kid. She runs forward, hoping that every desperate scavenger in a 5-mile radius had somehow missed the briefcase. They hadn't.
No!
I suddenly feel like I'm outside my own body, looking down from above at this odd, tawdry sight. A scientist and a smuggler, hunched over the gutted corpse of a flashy import roadster. Ain't a comic panel been printed with a scene as strange as this. I nudge Nellie, motioning for her to follow me towards the edge of the island, overlooking the lowers.
Yeah, I feel like we all kind of saw that coming, even without the hints from Alexander. The Chimera is really more of an endgame vehicle. The Lemon they gave us is clearly our actual starter car. But who knows, maybe the Chimera will eventually be an endgame car. Something to aspire to and eventually bring full circle. I can't bring our baby back, but maybe I can do the next best thing. Nice, and because that is a brass skill, we do benefit from our high heat. Lovely. I dig through dirt, ashes, and grease. The metal's gone cold and the cavity's gutted. I start to give up hope when I find a miracle hidden behind the tank. Like opening a burnt door to find a room still intact. Efficient repulsors. You know, it's not much, but it is something. We'll take it. That's still plus 1 AP. You almost got us out of this hellhole, baby. Looks like I'm hitching the rest of the way. Among the forgotten and decayed, I almost dismiss the rotting crate as another corpse, until a glint of light calls me. Colored glass peeks through the gaps, and not the kind you'd usually find in White Street. Gumshoe, interesting. Which notably is not influenced by your current heat level. A good investment for folks who don't really want to deal with the whole variable heat modifiers. Nice. I lift the crate. Waterlogged wood and molding straw fills my lungs. While fighting for air, I feel the bottom of the box open beneath my fingers and make a catcher's save. Safe. Oh, wow. A full-on crate of booze. Not even contraband. That is a pretty fantastic find. I think that is, in fact, the single most valuable item we've stumbled across. Though, of course, it offsets that by being extra bulky. Crumbled remains of White Street's last purge. And the red flash burn when I shut my eyes, and the ozone stings in my nostrils. I feel history repeating itself.
She somberly shuffles over before taking a seat next to me. Our legs dangle over the edge like a set of old, tarnished garden chimes.
I thought it'd be beautiful up close. Is that silly?
Huh?
The well. I've seen it so many times from the Institute, obviously, but I thought when I came down in person... I don't know. I guess I expected something different.
In the lowers, kid, things rarely go the way you expect. We gaze out at that hateful storm cloud, and I realize I do see a sort of severe, intense beauty in it. Like the ocean, maybe. Or what I imagine the ocean is like up close. What is it, anyway?
The well? It's a unique gravitational phenomenon. I theorize it's a byproduct of excessive industrial aether production, but the data is still unclear.
Punishment for our sins?
Last week, I would have scoffed at that. Today, I don't even know what I know anymore. Maybe it is.
Look, you can't carry the world on your shoulders, kid. We do what we can, and when we can't anymore, well, there's always wind skipping. She turns to me, confused. I reach into a deep coat pocket and pull out a handful of flat stone shards, eyeing them for the proper shape and size. My Zio taught me, when days were bad or boring or too hot or too cold or too anything, we'd throw stones together. The trick is to time it with the updraft. Watch this.
Last time I did this, Needles and I were fighting again. Couldn't hurl a rock at his smug face, so the empty sky had to do. Neither of them deserved it. A soft fragrance fights past the breeze, and I realize the girl's wearing perfume. Vanilla and rose. Height smells as foreign down here as good dentistry or hope. I feel a weird surge of pity for the poor, pampered kid. and a tiny acid kick of jealousy. Some say that Dreamland is too big to fail, that Nation's Crusade is a new, unstoppable force. But with White Street on the warpath,
the shard catches the wind and flies into the sky before disappearing into the noise of the city. Nellie's eyes brighten. Nellie takes a few stones from my hand, giving them a clinical eye. She winds back for a throw, but hesitates, glancing over at me. She turns over her stone, memorizing every bump and ridge before tossing it into the draft. It isn't much of a throw, but I have to hand it to the kid. She times it perfectly, and that stone flies better than any bird.
Well, what do you know? I do feel a bit better.
See? Nice throw, kid.
Thanks! Not that difficult, once you factor in mass times force, accounting for the wind, of course.
naturally.
All right, easy there. You ain't pitching for the Metromaniacs just yet. We sit in silence a little longer before the wind begs me to say something. What's so special about that briefcase of yours?
Oh, I've been tracking the growth patterns of the well for some time. Recently, the etheric charge in the storm band spiked, building in both intensity and atmospheric disturbance.
English, Professor, please.
Someone hasn't been a very good pupil. Skipping your homework? Well, see, my dog ate my chalkboard, and I'm not too good without my chalkboard.
Something recently made the well stronger. Much stronger. If I can stop that, I might be able to stop the well from consuming the lowers altogether.
You're serious, aren't you? You really think you can fix it?
Yes, but without my notes, I'll have to start again, collect some more data. I remember most of the model, but recreating some of the theorems will take time.
Well, that settles it. We're not done yet, kid. Those notes of yours, pretty sure they were taken. And I'm not going to soil my reputation by losing a client's property. We just need to fix up our clunker to find them.
Oh, you mean it, Gia? That's wonderful news. Thank you. But we need something better than Clunker if she's going to help us save the lowers. She needs a real name.
She does look like a block of cheese. Or a sponge. A honeycomb, maybe? I can see her gears spinning up again, and I decide to let her run. We could both use the distraction.
You know what? We already painted it yellow, so Honeybee's as good a name as any. Besides, she does float like a butterfly. You're right. Squint hard enough and she kind of looks like a honeycomb. But that's no name for a car. How about Honeybee?
I love it! You think we could find any yellow paint? Something bright? Or would that draw too much attention? The bad kind, I mean.
As we stand under the gloom of the well, the world somehow manages to look just a tiny bit brighter.
I think your uncle was right earlier. The wind skipping did help. Thanks, Principessa.
Trying out a little Italian? We'll work on it. Something easier.
But you call me that. I should be able to call you something.
I've already got a name, kid. But let me know if you think of anything.
Oh, you two are cute together. And yeah, this makes for a really good end cap for the demo.
Let's head home, kid.
Though we're not quite done just yet. I mean, technically speaking, there is actually a fair bit I've actually skipped. A lot of the background lore fluff, you know, talking to people twice. And there is some stuff towards the end I'll be skipping as well, but we do have one more fight. And then we'll probably call it. You know, save anything beyond that for a potential full series if folks decide they want to see that. Tinker's Repairs and General Goods is a well-known front operation. The dusty wares they have on display are purely for show. The real action is in the back. If you have the right rep, you can find anything a good smuggler needs. You buying? Selling, actually, but I might grab something while I'm here. Show me what you've got. Prices like these should be illegal. I mean, not to get all nitpicky on you, bud, but I think they technically are. Small storage compartment. One concealed, one non. Bit late in the demo for us to really get much use out of it, but we might go ahead and grab one anyway. Not much else here of note. The machine gun, perhaps? Though that, I think, actually might be outside our price range. Yeah, give me a sec. I'm gonna grab a thing or two. Then swing back by Liberty Autos. Update our final loadout. And good to go. Dual shotguns, efficient repulsors, small storage space. Even went ahead and grabbed that caltrip launcher, just to give it a shot. Let's do this. Oh no, a fight! I'm getting used to Honeybee's quirks, namely compensating for a disastrous alignment. When I hear a sharp intake of breath from Nellie, my eyes dart to the rear view and I see him again. That tall, rangy shadow, riding hard towards us like a bandit in the night. The shadow pulls up next to us, and I'd swear on Zio's headstone. I feel the temperature drop. His gaze is flint and his smile is poison. I squeeze the wheel to steady myself. I've been awful rude. Never introduced myself. Name's Tobias Dufresne. Didn't ask, Slim. You got about 3 seconds before I ram you into a building. Again.
Leave us alone!
Be glad to oblige, Missy, but I'm being paid handsomely to bring you back to Olympus Park. And I aim to earn my pay. Come along now. Like hell. You there! This area is off limits to civilians. Disperse immediately. Here's your chance to run. You'd like that, wouldn't you? It was you. You torched my car. Precious to you, was it? I expect little Miss was hoping to get her papers back, too. Don't worry, darling. They're in good hands.
Wait, my research? Give it back! And that's doctored to you!
Apologies. But if you won't come quietly, well... I said disperse! Final warning! Ooh, and there's our AoE tutorial. Haven't seen that one before. I'm guessing because of our new caltrip launcher. Got some incoming obstacles, but sadly nothing we can really take advantage of. We'll just make do. And hold here. Force him to ram. There's our ram. Plus shoddy. Oof. Puts us at half.
You're cruising for a bruising.
Oh boy, Okay, well. Oh man, that actually really does complicate things.
Applesauce! Look what you done to my fenders!
Sorry. I did not expect that guy to come back for round 2. Otherwise, I would have sprung for heat-resistant armor. But man, yeah, we might actually bite it here. That cabbie really messed us up. We just have to survive one more round. Oh, nice. You know what? That actually really helps. Though I could have lived without that part. And also that. Alright, well, Dufresne, it's been fun. I'm gonna... No way we do enough damage to take him out, but I'm gonna ding him up anyway. And away! Farewell! That's it. You're under arrest by order of General Tillinghast. Damn it, soldier boy. Get out of my way. Now's our chance. The Whitecaps jump on Dufresne's sleek Corvette like a drove of starched pigs tackling a raven, while the bullets and cuss words fly. So do we. And he clocks our escape with a furious shout. Yeah, I'll bet he's pissed. Dude almost had us. You ain't seen the last of me, you hear? I'm coming for you, Miss Doctor. Inappropriate phrasing, please. But hey, against all odds, we survived. Though once that cabbie got involved, it was by no means a sure thing. Ooh, Armor Buster. Our first auxiliary part. Couple of other redundant parts, things we've already purchased. And Nitro, a consumable item which lets you skip optional combat encounters. Not something I would normally see myself doing, but given how close some of these fights have been, I could definitely see why you might want to. And back we go.
I better let Cress know what happened to the Chimera.
Nah, pass. That's for the full game if we end up deciding to come back to this one. But for now, alas, our adventure has come to an end. We'll go ahead and top off, pay Percy one last visit. How you doing, bud? Purr. Glad to hear it. And on that note, with Percy's seal of approval, I think we're done. Chris does technically have a bit more that she has to say. You know, plus, of course, we could delve into her background as well as the background of some of the other recurring NPCs. But again, that feels like stuff that we should really save for the full series if we end up coming back on this one. I think most of what she has to tell us right now is essentially set up for a job that isn't included in the demo. So it would kind of just be an awkward place to leave off if we got all that narrative set up and then it hard cuts to the thanks for playing the demo screen. Though you know what, there is actually an optional combat encounter accessible through the main screen on the current demo. And I think we can actually do the narrative setup for that. So I mean, if folks really want to see more, I could potentially come back for a quickie one-shot, just to do the train fight, complete with the surrounding narrative. But, you know, I'll let future Retcon worry about that. We'll see how this one does first. Since it does now seem like this is going to be an extremely rare 3-hour episode, probably not my best move, but I do feel like it was important to include, given the heavy visual novel nature of this game, that we at least reached a decent end cap for the prologue. Which I think we did, you know, finding our missing car and then the heart-to-heart overlooking Dreamland. Makes for a very satisfying narrative package, I think, even if it is just a taste of the greater whole. That said, if it weren't already obvious, I really enjoyed this one. I like the setting, I like the characters. I feel like it's pretty consistently impressed me with its high effort, even if there were a few hiccups here and there, which I do give them a pass on, considering this is, again, an inherently unfinished demo build. I do feel like they could maybe clean up some of those skill check placements. I feel like there could stand to be a bit more actual gameplay, but I do get the impression there's a lot more combat and such once you get past that initial hump of the prologue. You know, this is one of those games that has a ton of initial setup to get you really invested into the story. And honestly, even there, despite this being a prologue, I was kind of impressed with the amount of choice and consequence we started seeing in the latter half. Since, having played it once before, I can now actually see some of those branching paths. The final fate of the Quartermaster, the circumstances you leave the Aethoniers in afterwards, and then, of course, the whole heat mechanic. You know, things played out very differently in my first run because I did use the safe house. I reduced the heat back down to 0, which made for a fairly different sequence of events once we did go to collect our car. Long term. Kind of a shame we didn't get to recruit any crew members, you know, do multi-car combat. That, I think, is the reason they included the one optional encounter, the train job, on the main menu. Just to give you a taste. You can technically recruit Cress right here and now, but the demo ends before you can actually take her into any fights. So yeah, that was Aether Iron, or at least the demo thereof, which I feel has a whole lot of promise, but of course that is just my personal opinion. If it looks like something you might at all be interested in, I encourage you to go check it out yourself. The demo should still be available as of the moment I'm recording this. And then, of course, feel free to let me know what you think in the comments down below, or if you might like to see me revisit this one once it's a bit further along. Who knows? Perhaps I'll see you then.